This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Greetings and welcome to Winning 24. Breaking news. Here we go. The verdict is in. Let's get to it.
Could you're the attorney here, however, could you please game theory what you think is going
So
to
as
happen?
it is,
Based on our reading,
they
and our
found him
understanding of the
guilty on
legal
all
system in New
charges
York,
because it's a
the
rigged
judge may
game,
well
as we all know.
decide his ruling.
This could be really
here,
like flying by the seat of my
right
pants
away.
here.
He may just decide from the bench today. We don't know. I suppose we'll wait for the breaking news to come in. But what do you believe is going to happen?
Yeah.
Some are predicting home confinement. This would be a way to get him off the campaign trail. A gag order that continues.
This will
a way
send
to
it
stop
over the
him
top,
from
ladies and
speaking,
gentlemen.
even if a debate with Joe Biden is possible.
By the way, thanks to all the members.
Yeah, I do expect them
Bottom of
to
the screen.
confine him in some way. I mean, sending him straight to prison or
They can't beat him.
jail, awaiting sentencing.
He's now
is very, very extreme. Everything about this is extreme. I don't see a good solution for them to get this guilty verdict and then let him go campaign, freely across the country talking about how bad it is. So they, from their perspective, need to limit him in some way, whether it's a gag order, whether it's, he's limited to travel within the state of New York or something like that. Maybe he has to stay home.
Why does this woman's face keep freezing? Where am I at here?
House arrest effectively. I don't know what they're going to do, but
You gotta be kidding me.
not confining him, I think, for their perspective is probably the worst possible.
Hey. Did you want me to share it?
In uncharted territory. So I have no way of predicting this. I'm just looking at what they're doing and going, how the heck did we get here and where are they going with it? And they keep doubling down and doubling down and doubling down. And they're now at the point, they have far surpassed the point of no return. And so,
Hey, cool gamer, how are you?
They have to keep getting crazier and crazier. And the only thing past what they've already done now is to somehow.
So I don't know where winning went.
Whether it's through speech or physical location, his ability to move. I don't know, but we are absolutely in a constitutional crisis right now.
Yeah, absolutely, we are. So out of 34 counts, they found him guilty on all 34 counts.
Elect this guy president because
each one carries up to 4 years
Constitution
imprisonment.
All to go away, you have to support Donald Trump for president. Don Jr. staying effectively as much on social media right now, guilty on all accounts. The Democrats have succeeded in their years-long attempt to turn
Aaron Rabbit.
the third world S-hole. November 5th is our last chance to save it. You're working at the RNC right now. Do you agree?
I agree.
So
100%.
winning will be back. I'm here.
To elect Donald Trump.
I've been watching this all day, waiting for this all day.
We have to clean out this corruption. We have to stop criminalizing
it's ridiculous.
Opposition. I mean, they're trying to throw everybody in prison who has spoken out, who has
this is heartbreaking
them in one way or another.
And terrifying.
Included. I certainly am not Donald Trump, but I have faced,
because if they could pull this on him, what could they do to the rest of us? None of us have a fighting chance.
We have to stop it.
So
justice is supposed to be blind, not stupid.
Do you have plans for appeal?
Boat Nose Barbecue. Wow. I mean, that's
everyone's saying this is going to be turned
yeah.
over on appeal. We've had.
I feel you. I do. I can't.
Turned over on appeal.
Yeah.
Right, but like
this is ridiculous. The way just the fact that they didn't have to be unanimous. What does that say?
Right?
You're entitled to a trial by a jury of your peers. You're the president of the United States or a former president. You don't have any peers. unless they're going to fill it with, founding fathers.
McDonald, former governor of
And the
Virginia,
founding
and the
fathers
ruling
never would have stood for
just
this.
got overturned.
This is a
at the end of the
travesty of
Supreme Court,
justice.
8-0.
It's a
Scalia had
gross
passed it at that
miscarriage of
point.
justice.
But it was a unanimous decision by the Supreme Court to overrule what Jack Smith did. He didn't care because it was all about election interference. It wasn't about justice. It wasn't about what was happening with Bob McDonnell, and it's certainly, this isn't even about Donald Trump. This is election interference, and so they don't care. They know it's going to be overturned on appeal, which is why they're making.
This is such a frame job.
Decisions.
Christina, I hope that you are able.
When in history have you ever heard a judge go, it doesn't matter if you all agree. I just need 4 of you.
Donald Trump.
That's it. Just a third of you need to agree.
Boss.
And he's guilty
right now. If you don't mind, can we watch this
together? And he didn't give them any kind of written instructions. He wouldn't allow them instructions. You get instructions to set up, your TV. You get instructions on how to operate a pencil sharpener. These people are deciding, the verdict of a former president of the United States, and they didn't get any kind of written instructions. He just wants the conviction. That's all this judge wanted. He wants to be in the record books as having been the first person to convict a president of horrible things. You need to get caught up.
Just show
Trump
yours.
is speaking.
Just show yours.
Okay.
Get yours up there fast as possible. I don't know what's going on my end, but everything's fucked up right now. There we go. Please put it large screen. There we go. Unmute it.
Our whole country is
All
being
right.
rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble, but this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
What's up, Zach? What's up, Boats? How you doing, man? Want some barbecue, man? You make me hungry.
Hey, Zach.
Rabbit, what's up?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, those were Donald Trump's brief comments before
Now what?
Before the court and before the members of the court and the media there. Christina Bobb is with us from the RNC. We are getting breaking news, mile a minute here. Apparently sentencing is going to be July 11th. That's right before, it's a week before the RNC convention. That must infuriate you. They're going to stop Donald Trump from going to the RNC convention.
It is shocking. I cannot fathom what they are doing, what they are trying to do, the level of election interference that this has risen to.
If anybody doesn't realize that it's a war,
all I can say to the American
maybe now they
public
do.
is stand strong. We have to stand with Donald Trump. We have
Corrupt
to
system
stand with
is a war.
constitutional principles. No matter what they throw at him, no matter what they throw at us, we have to stay strong in support of this man for president because the reason they're going after him is everything that he has said. They're not after me, they're after you. I'm just standing in the way. And so now it's time for us to continue our support for him and stand up and stand for him when he's not able to. So I just want to encourage everybody, don't lose heart, don't get discouraged, just refocus and say, we're going to keep going and we're going to get Donald Trump back in the White House.
Donald Trump looked particularly angry there.
I imagine.
And you know him better than most. You've served as his attorney in official and unofficial roles. And so I'd like to sort of get your thought process on what he's going through right now, what the strategy is going forward. Donald Trump seemed quite determined and quite, we've seen him in many moods in the courthouse, but he seemed angry.
Yeah, I imagine he is angry. And I imagine he's experiencing a lot of emotions right now, anger being one of them. determination being another, resilience. He is the most resilient person I've ever met. He's the most determined to save this country. And I think we all know that he's the only one that can do this. He's the only one that can survive these attacks and withstand it. He's built for this. I believe he was
right on.
absolutely made for this.
Yes,
and
been
I
saying that
think he
forever.
knows that too. I think he
He's a
intuitively
fighter.
understands that he is
Well, he's
a
got the
unique person
resources
in American
and the
history.
pers-
And if he doesn't
personality.
stand up to save this country, there's not really anybody else who can.
Not right now.
And so I would imagine that he's very angry and more determined than ever to keep going.
Final question, Christina, and we deeply appreciate you reacting to this live news and giving us these insights. Donald Trump's not effectively a political prisoner now, a la Nelson Mandela. Are you going to run? I mean, are you going to run on that from the RNC? That seems it seems, based on what I know about Americans, you're not allowed to tell me who I can and cannot vote for. There is a way that this may backfire really badly and cause Trump to win by even more. People might want to vote for the guy in prison just because F you, right? Like F you can't tell me who I can and cannot vote for. Thought process strategically from the RNC as you are the RNC's counsel.
Right. Well, I'll allow the chairman to make the first statement on this. I don't want to be the one to say a way forward without the chairman speaking on it first. But I can say, Donald Trump absolutely is our nominee, and we're supporting him through whatever he's going through. And certainly we support the American public's ability and willingness to vote for whoever they want. I think it's important that people have that ability. Certainly, that's why they're doing this. They're trying to rob
I'll take it
American
however
people
I can get it,
of
Zach. Thanks,
the
dude.
candidate of their choice. So
Thank you for the $5 super chat.
Firmly with Donald Trump. I support
so
him.
sweet.
I'm not wavering. And I think you're exactly right. I think this is going to end up backfiring massively. And I think he's going to end up winning in a landslide.
All right. Well, from your mouth to God's ears, Christina Bobb from the RNC.
I mean,
such a fighter herself.
Real quick.
the support he
and
got
we
just
deeply,
from the
deeply
mugshot in
your
Atlanta.
insights here.
Can you imagine what
Please
this
go
is going to
and share
do?
this
Like,
election,
I'm more afraid
win.
of people
You got
being
it.
stupid
Yeah.
and
All
like
right. All right. Thank you.
doing
Thanks.
stupid things.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of reactions, again, pouring in from across social media. Vivek Ramaswamy,
Never mind.
the prosecutor, is a politician who promised to nail Trump. The judge's daughter is a Democrat operative who literally raises money from the trial while her father presided over it. The jury instructions said they didn't have to agree on a crime to convict. This will backfire.
Oh yeah, there's
Tucker
no
Carlson, ladies and
Supreme Court
gentlemen,
is going to go crazy on this.
jumping in a very rare tweet from Tucker on X. I guess we're dead naming X, Twitter, whatever. A
So
post on
silly.
X from Tucker Carlson, something he rarely does. He posts videos, but does not commentate like this. But here we go. Import the third world, become the third world. That's what we just saw. This won't stop Trump. He'll win the election if he's not killed first. But it does mark the end of the fairest justice system in the world. Anybody who defends this verdict is a danger to you and your family.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are the comments rolling in. And man,
This is just
fast and furious and
persecution
totally true there from Tucker. And
for no reason.
what you're
Pure hatred.
what you're witnessing right
I mean,
now.
It's wake up time for anybody who hasn't woken up yet.
The
corrupt system.
They're maddening.
We're not in charge. All this democracy
They're-
they're talking about doesn't exist.
Proper villains. They didn't build this place, and they're destroying it
They've been lying
because
to you the
have
entire time.
power, because they know we hate him.
And they're
We hate
importing their supporters.
And so we choose somebody who's not among them, not among the
It's happening on all
political-
fronts.
those political classes to represent us.
That's the way they
against
work.
that system.
And they've
And so
had
they
this plan
assassinate. This
probably
is
for a long
just
time.
less messy.
We definitely had the
Kennedy
Cloward and Piven plan
is
for a
what's
long
going on
time.
here. It's Stalinist.
They
to
can
its
predict.
core,
They have predictive
so
models.
blatant.
anti-American, What you were witnessing is the opposite.
How anybody could
how this
not
country was
see
founded,
it
but it
is
does
what
I
mark
knew eventually the,
dark
the,
day
the black folks would wake up
when
and they would be like,
Sovietism and
we're getting
the
screwed.
Soviet style
Yeah.
of
Mhm.
Marxism
so they
Stalinism
knew that their
has taken over.
broken
Be far less
coalition
humane
plans
than
had to
Democrats.
adjust.
How can any Democrat ever support this? How could anybody ever hold their head high and say they're voting for Joe Biden? The malevolence,
Right.
call
Jack,
it
once again, he
Stalinism.
says, I'm not a supporter of content creators.
First act of
I'm
Stalin
just a narcissist who likes my
when
comments
he
read. So I had to read it for you.
He's so funny.
through
I had to read it
means
for you.
that were illegitimate in the Soviet Union. Was not supposed to be him in charge of the Soviet Union. But
We became what we fought.
between rigging and
Mhm.
power brokering and straight murder, Joseph Stalin gains power, and the first thing he does is impanel juries and judges to execute all of his political enemies. That's it. That red purge and red scare swept across the Soviet Union all the way down to the citizen. It didn't stop with Stalin's political enemies. They ran out of those quickly. Stalin famously saying, show me the man, I'll show you the crime.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Enya.
They
And
just needed to have a
yeah.
reason or no reason at all. Sometimes just fear was enough. So who's going to stop it? Is it going to be Jim Jordan? Here's what Jim Jordan has to say. This verdict is a travesty of justice. The Manhattan Kangaroo Court shows what happens when our justice system is weaponized
This
by
is a
partisan
disgrace, folks.
prosecutors
It
in
is.
front of a biased judge with an unfair process designed to keep
And
the
yeah.
President Trump off the campaign trail and avoid bringing attention to President Biden's failing radical policies. Americans
I don't know
see
about
through
that.
Democrats' lawfare tactics.
It's already
They know
been this
President
way.
Trump
We're just
will be
unveiling
vindicated
the
on
corruption
appeal.
here.
So here we go. Let's jump now, ladies and gentlemen, further to Ben Carson, who obviously served Donald Trump for 4 years in the White House as his HUD director, Housing and Urban Development.
He
The
did a
judicial
great
system
job.
has been weaponized to go after presidents for political gain. Imagine what they could do to you. We the people stand against this in November. God be with President Trump. We were with him all the way to saving the country. You're gonna get very tired of this, and I can understand
Hey,
it.
nerd.
Every election, people go, vote for it like your life depends on it. But actually, yes, this time.
Because your life
I
does.
know it's
Yep.
so overused and so overtread. Vote for it like your life depends on it. This is the most important election of your lifetime. Yes, it is. Actually, this time, yes.
It actually is. Yes. I agree.
Actually, yes. Ron DeSantis, who just had a very bloody battle with Donald Trump, who has not sounded off on this case at all, to be quite honest with you. Ron
Needs
DeSantis, who
to.
did not sound off on this case.
He needs to get on the bus
coming in
or
very strong here.
be counted
He's
as
on. Look
office.
at
Saying
him.
this.
Oh, there we go.
Today's verdict
Thank you.
represents the culmination of a legal process that's been bent to the political will of the actors involved, a leftist prosecutor, partisan judge, a jury reflective of one of the most liberal enclaves in America, all in an effort to get Trump. That this case involving alleged misdemeanor business record violations from nearly a decade ago was even brought is a testament to the political debasement of the justice system in places like New York City. This is especially true considering the same district attorney routinely excuses criminal conduct in a way that has endangered law-abiding citizens in jurisdiction. Completely correct. It is often said that nobody is above the law, but it is also true that no one is below the law. If the defendant were not Donald Trump, this case would have never been brought. The judge would have never issued similar rulings. The judge would have never returned a guilty verdict. In America, the rule of law should be applied to in a dispassionate, even-handed manner, and not become captive to the political agenda of some kangaroo court.
Hey,
Strong
Wolfram.
commentary there from Ron DeSantis,
Wolfram, what's up?
ladies and gentlemen. So we have some very strong commentary from some of our favorite political commentators. Judge Janine is absolutely livid on Fox News. She's a
I
strong
don't doubt
ally
it.
and defender of Donald Trump. And actually, this is why I think it's particularly interesting with Judge Janine. She was a court in this same system. She was a judge in the same system, the same courtroom. Judge Janine is from this courthouse and from this courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, as we await Brett Tolman, former federal prosecutor, and Kash Patel, please have a listen to Judge Janine absolutely going flamethrower fest.
Wrong here. We have gone over a cliff in America. This verdict is a verdict of someone who was forced to fight a 1,000-pound gorilla with both hands tied behind his back. This was a defendant for whom crimes were created, against whom a judge was picked that out of the ordinary, not from the drum, but a judge who was handpicked for this defendant, who denied him the ability to fight the way he needed to fight, who brought in crimes that we've never heard of in New York before, where they had dead misdemeanors that they resurrected into felonies based upon non-unanimous verdicts of crimes that are federal, over which no state court or no state judge or prosecutor has jurisdiction. And in the end, with all the smoke and mirrors and 34 counts and a hooker and a guy, according to a federal judge, is a serial perjurer, we have convicted a former president of the United States of America.
I'm not either.
We've gone over a cliff. The question as to whether or not America will react to this, whether his numbers will go up or down, I don't know. But I do know what I know. And what I know is that this case is riddled with errors. It is reversible. It will not get through to the appellate division in the First Department in New York, or certainly the Court of Appeals before the next year. And people say, should it go to the Supreme Court? No, it can't go to the Supreme Court unless they exhaust all of the state court appeals. I've spent 32 years in this system, and I am totally disillusioned.
These jurors are all guilty of fraud.
DA who literally campaigned on making sure that this president would be indicted. We've got an attorney general who did the same thing. This is a new era in America, and I think it goes against the ilk of who we are as Americans and our faith in the criminal justice system.
So if you're just joining us.
All right.
I believe that this is probably the most fruitful line of questioning right now.
Even though it feels this way, we cannot react with the other side. We have to be online protesting. We have to open our mouths in civil ways. They want optics right now. They want people to freak out, go in the street, raise hell.
And I really hope they don't. And
they want to J6 this thing. This is this is where you got to be really careful about things, your reactions. And I'm not talking to this level-headed crowd I got here. I'm talking to this out in the general space. If anybody maybe listening and maybe thinking about it, let's go to Cash Patel real quick.
I think people are just over it. I think you're really running up against like a constitutional crisis here.
I would tell you that I have lost faith in the system if we did not have Donald Trump as our warrior. With him leading the charge, I can get behind that. And I think everyday Americans are already getting behind that. They have this
he's gonna have a lot more
during this Biden rig trial. And now people are seeing the quickness and the haste and the injustices committed against President Trump were specifically done for election rigging purposes and not lawful constitutional purposes. And I speak to America as not as a former federal prosecutor, but I was a federal public defender. I spent tons of time trying cases in state and federal court, defending the worst of the worst. I want to know where the public defender community is. Where is the ACLU and the warriors of due process? They have been silent, and I bet you they're cheering right now because Donald Trump has been convicted. I would put up an operation outside of every ACLU style office and ask them why they didn't come to the aid of the Constitution as they're supposed to do, and ask every single
because they're fraud.
Why they've
always been a
lie
fraud
to the American public and call
they have been for
and I think when you start pounding on them
fraud.
and calling out their hypocrisy and following Donald
Trump, it's a corrupt system.
It's going to be a long road to restoring justice, and it's going to be a tough one. And if we didn't have him, I would tell you we've lost it, but we still got a shot.
Yeah, you have to. If you go to an NFL game, you have to assume that the game isn't rigged completely, and that the Roger Goodell hasn't decided that the Patriots are going to lose. You have to assume that to get people in the stands, to get people to pay for the ticket. But people are stopping paying for the ticket. The illusion of a fair justice system has just evaporated. Tucker Carlson just said, I mean, this is the end of the best justice system that man has ever known. Do you agree with Tucker?
Yeah, just put a pin on everything else and say, hold for a second. Does everyday America have faith in the criminal justice system of the United States of America?
Yes.
No.
And the answer to that now is going to be overwhelmingly no. And the answer to that question, even in the hateful, liberal, radical left-wing circles, is quietly no. Do they know the precedent they just set, that if Donald Trump is to win office, do they know the precedent that, of course, we would never continue this style of tyrannical justice, but they have just recorded in the history books of America an unlawful judicial system to wipe out a political opponent and his movement. That was authored by the Democrats and Biden.
Yep.
Are they going to abide by that authoritarian view of the justice system? I think I agree with Tucker on this one, that the confidence has been shot. But while the confidence may have been shot across the board in the justice system, I think it has delivered what I would say is a renewed vigor and intention to see it course corrected behind Donald Trump. If people were ticked off before this trial, during this trial, now they see that they're coming for everybody in America. And I think Americans are going to work hard to make sure we can fix it.
It seems like the soft coup that began rolling during Trump's first term has now turned into a hard coup.
Yeah.
And the goal will be to prevent Donald Trump from campaigning. Where do you see it going from here? Just as of note, breaking news, the sentencing is going to be on July 11th. That's 4 days before the convention, Cash.
Of course. What did you expect? Now, look,
July 11th.
this is
all right.
you have to understand, for purposes of sentencing, you look at criminal history priors and whether or not these were violent criminals that he was charged with, violent criminal acts. And it's over everything across the board. Donald Trump has no criminal history. These charges, putting aside that they're bogus, are nonviolent bookkeeping charges. And so what would normally happen at this type of sentencing is that there would be a probationary sentence issued. And because of the amount of legal issues created by this judge and Alvin Bragg, any normal jurist, anyone who cared about the
This
Constitution,
judge
would
needs
say,
to go to jail.
whatever the sentence is, you, Mr. President, are staying out of custody pending appeal so that the courts of
Yes.
law can decide whether or not this trial was adjudicated correctly. And so, of course, they pick a timing right before it because they want to hammer the political process. The interesting thing will be, is this judge going to take Donald Trump into custody 4 days before the the Republican National Convention, where you and I will be at?
Yeah. I mean, you talk about people caring about the Constitution there. The Constitution states that, of course, the president cannot be bound or limited by these systems. That would mean effectively that Juan Merchan is more powerful than the president, right? Which is what they're trying to prove here. Trying to prove that Juan Merchan has more power, or the system that he represents, the system that's running him and enriching his daughter and saying, do what we want, and you'll get a lot of money. That system
Hey, cool gamer.
is more powerful than the president of the United States. That's not how our country
What's up,
works.
honey?
No.
And so the way to actually unshackle
Suzanne.
Donald Trump would be to elect him president. No?
That's exactly it. And I think that's look, my phone, I'm sure like yours, has been blowing up as soon as the verdict came in, saying they're scared for the future of our country. They're scared for the justice system. They're scared for Donald Trump because he's put so much on the line to defend them all these last 8-10 years. But I think the resounding motivating factor going forward that's going to be
Hey,
cohesive
Susie.
rather than disruptive is the fact that we need someone like a Donald Trump, and only Donald Trump, to make America the way it's supposed to be, a constitutional republic under the law. This is not I would call this a banana republic, but that would be paying a compliment to Judge Merchan and the Alvin Bragg Biden prosecutorial
It
team.
really is.
This wouldn't even happen in places like Venezuela and sub-Saharan Africa. We, the United States of America, are no longer in a position to critique other jurisdictions and justice systems around the world after the verdict that was handed down today, because it is the most unconstitutional, unlawful verdict, not just in U.S. history, but literally in the U.S. worldwide global history. I've never seen anything like this.
You make such a great point. We've lost all moral high ground, all of it. There used to be some type of like shining city on a hill. I'm a Reagan kid, right? I know you were probably too. There used to be this sort of picture of America. It's gone now. It's so sad, actually. So you have advised Donald Trump. You're very close to Donald Trump. You've held high positions of authority inside of his administration, and presumably would hold more of those positions if you so accepted in a second term. To finish out here, Cash, what would you advise the president to do to end this? Because the reality is, I don't want to see this happen, even to like the worst of the worst. Right. I don't want to see a system where if you announce you're running for president, you immediately go to prison, right? Like I don't want that. And it's hard to say because I think Hillary Clinton belongs in jail, and I think Bill Clinton belongs in jail, and I think they all belong in Guantanamo Bay. That Biden belongs in Guantanamo. Like, but there's like something so rendering of the fabric of this country to have that happen. How do you stop this cycle?
You do one thing: you elect Donald Trump president and ask him to follow the Constitution. And that's exactly what he's done. That's exactly how he's campaigned. That's exactly what he's done. And that's been his tool to expose the corrupt system that's been highlighted in Georgia, in Florida, in Washington, in New York, and Arizona, and elsewhere. And the advice that I would give him, I'll happily tell it to your audience right now, is you have been our juggernaut of justice. You have followed the Constitution when it has been difficult and when it hasn't been easy, and every time in between. And you have followed and applied that Constitution to every single American of race, creed, or color. You have never taken that into consideration. And we need you, Donald Trump, to not bend the knee and to go forth with just as much vigor, if not more, for the American people and deliver that message that the constitutional republic that is the United States will be saved by Donald Trump, who will run on the Constitution. He has done that. And I think, and I believe he will continue to do that and win over a greater swath of not just the American electorate, but the world. Europe's looking over here saying that is not a criminal justice system we ever want to import over here. And that should tell you everything you need to know, since they are basically socialistic Democrats over there.
I bet they're glad they didn't send Assange back over.
But here, we've taken it to another level.
Yeah, Vladimir Putin's so evil. He invades countries. He locks up his political opponents. Oh my God. Yeah, he rigs elections. It's so bad. He has people murdered that he doesn't like. Yeah.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Where are all the constitutional due process leftists going to be next week when the current president's son goes on trial for guns, drugs, and tax evasion? Where are they going to be when he starts trial on Monday? We will see the hypocrisy of their ways immediately starting Monday. Everybody should be watching the Biden trial and what an actual prosecution should look like and what an actual judge should conduct himself with. And then ask those hypocrites on the left, how come they didn't apply that same standard that they're going to be chirping about Joe Biden's kid to Donald Trump?
Yeah. Well, we pray Godspeed, Cash, and we really need you at the DOJ, pal. And I know that Trump's a lot wiser and they're a lot smarter and they understand their friends and their enemies a lot better this time around. I think that this will make Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump will win by a larger landslide because of this. But we need fighters. So fight with Cash, ladies and gentlemen. Ensure that we have a movement that stays strong and marches together. You can't defeat an army of happy warriors. Cash Patel, you are one. Godspeed.
Thanks, Benny. See you soon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there are people reporting that the donation page to Donald Trump has just crashed due to the enormous amount of traffic. There is right there.
That's good.
Donald Trump's campaign website donation
Let's hope
page
that's
is
why.
Now, 500. It's not operational because
They're all out there breaking the internet.
Donate. I think would probably call himself a small D Democrat, right? Like as of up until like quite recently. A sham trial designed for one purpose: to brand Donald Trump as a felon. Watch Dems and the mainstream media endlessly repeat this word. It does seem like a brand new hoax that has been brought on the American people at the point of a gun. Is there any faith left in the system? We are certainly not doomers on this program.
I'm just telling you, man. It's time.
But we do want to.
I've been saying this for a while, man.
Realists who have really
you can't
been in the
take.
trenches.
They are at war with us.
And in criminal trials, especially.
Okay.
And that is why
they're going to act like it. They're going to do every dirty thing in the world. They're going to go back on things. They're going to lie about things. They're going to bend the rules, break the rules. They've always been doing it. God. All right. They've been doing it forever. They don't stop doing it. This is what happens when you have a corrupt system that's against everybody in the country, right? it's just whittling away little by little, right? And now here's a major thing because he's the major threat. They've been doing it all along. You know, while everybody was asleep and everybody's worried about everybody's drama and everybody's just checking out. This is what's been going on the entire time. Will this be the wake up call for America? I hope so. It's certainly going to make a lot of people mad, and it's going to make a lot of people want to go and fight and the other side. The other side's going to antagonize us to death. I would stop this, but I can't. So I feel like talking right now. I don't really want to hear loud noises in my ears, and bells and shit. I just like this whole thing is like ridiculous, right? And if you feel charged up, then you know what's up. Right, you know that the game is rigged, but we can't become them. But we have to get in, and we have to do things that staunch-nosed libertarians and whatnot won't like, and that's actually just say, okay, no trial. You're in jail. You're in jail. You're in jail. We've caught you doing all this shit. You're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. You got to go at them like they're coming at us, or else we're not going to have a country.
The game has changed. The rules have changed, and you better come out swinging, or it will bury us. And
there you go. He's saying exactly what I'm saying.
And they won't have an opportunity to get, that punch. When you have a bully come up, you have to punch him in the nose, and if you don't, you'll continue to be bullied day in, day out. And
Absolutely.
I've seen it firsthand in the law.
I am the bully killer.
Life and in elementary school.
What are your friends saying to you? I assume you got 400,000 texts the moment this dropped.
Yeah,
You're one of the you have this incredible legacy, and you've tried so many criminal cases, and so few would know what it's like to be inside of a trial like this more than you. What does this say about our system? Are we facing an actual constitutional crisis here?
Yeah, I think we're facing a crisis that, it does change the game, Benny. And look, everybody that reached out,
it's
from,
clean sweep.
Those that are traumatized to, in disbelief and angry and afraid.
One piece of the cancer out. Cut it all out.
Look, there's plenty of opportunity for us to save this country, and I would say there are. If we realistically look at this case, there never was an acquittal possible. I predicted long ago, I thought that the hung jury was the overwhelming, result that I predicted. But when you have the judge that was leaning on the scales of justice from the beginning of opening arguments, actually before that, to his rulings on motions to exclude evidence, his rulings during the trial, his objections to cross-examination. I mean, Benny, it's bad when the judge takes a different tone when speaking to the prosecution versus when he speaks to the defense in front of the jury.
And our hands were tied the entire time.
In the minds of the jury,
to do anything about that. That was the real.
Like they gave the elimination of key evidence the defense wanted to put on. It is almost impossible to get anything better than a hung jury in a case like this. So, look, we'll look our wounds. This judge has considerable power now. On July 11th, he has the power to take Trump forthwith. He can take him, put him in custody right then, and he can do it for whatever period of time. Now, Kash Patel is accurate that there's a range of sentence that's supposed to be a range that the judge follows, but the rules are out the window. Who knows what this judge will do? I predict that he will give him some jail time. I think he will fine him. He'll give him a stern lecture, and then he'll promptly plan his retirement and a book deal.
Wow. So you believe that?
Yeah, that dude's not going to last a fucking minute.
I do. I think he is the perfect Hollywood scripted central casting judge that wants to do it.
Wow.
So he has the power to do it, and he wants to do it. So what's going to happen?
So there's your constitutional crisis. Yes, because then you're shackling not just presidential candidate. That's bad enough. This is the guy who's like every poll shows him winning by a very large margin. Some polls saying this could be a 100-point electoral college landslide. You're going to put the guy in chains.
Yeah. If those on the Democrat side that are thinking rationally get to this judge, they're going to say, please don't do that. Let's not make a bigger martyr out of him than he is now. And if he doesn't put him in jail, that'll be the reason why. But judges love to put people they don't like in jail. It's the ultimate power trip.
But doesn't that, again, this goes to the point. What hope is there for anybody? All that's needed is a rigged judge and a rigged jury, and it doesn't matter the crime. Show me the man.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I said at the very beginning of this, throw out all the evidence, throw out all the, everything that we are, all the legal analysts are going to be scrutinizing. Just think about whether the jury likes a particular witness or whether they like the defendant. If they do not like the defendant, they are going to convict, and they're not going to be, we don't put the most intelligent on jurors. Juries are notoriously filled. We had a couple lawyers on this, but you have New Yorkers that are predominantly opposed to this particular defendant. And so, that's what you're dealing with. Let's get beyond it. Let's move. There's a reason why the founders of the Constitution said you can run for president and be a felon. So here we are.
They were all felons.
Right.
Right. Like half of them went to jail,
company.
like during the Revolutionary War. They
that's right.
the entire country. Yeah. Johnny Cash sold more records. So did Tupac after their mugshots. Right. And a lot of people went and saw Iron Man and the Avengers, and Robert Downey Jr.'s big time felon.
That's right.
So
yes, can we have a Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
Jr.
we'll see. Really quickly, Brett. How do you prevent this? Like, nobody wants this to be the norm.
Yeah, that's why I think you have to actually punch them back until they realize, we might be susceptible to the same game plan.
Yes.
Then they'll continue to do it. There's no question in my mind they'll continue to do it. It worked.
Yes.
So at this point,
Republicans with balls. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do it. You have to be the one that prosecutes Hillary for destruction of evidence and national security classified documents.
Go after them for treason.
You have to be the ones that are willing to go after, the politician or the liberal left-leaning. There's so much corruption in this country that we could prosecute, and we need the prosecutors to step up and do it.
Well, I look forward to you being the first special counsel appointment from the president.
Thanks, Benny.
Yeah, I hear beards are very popular for a special.
Yes,
counsel.
they are.
All right, Brett. Godspeed. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody who ran for president against Joe Biden as a Democrat, Tulsi Gabbard. Somebody who joined us on this program last week to talk about these very issues. Biden, guilty of abuse of power. Biden, guilty of turning our country into a banana republic. Can we stop using banana republic, please? Can we just stop with the banana republic? Come up with a better term. Stalinist is a better term. Stalinist, Marxist, fascistic hellscape would be better. Banana republic almost sounds like a pair of pants I'd like to wear, a shirt I'd like to wear. Those in power use the law to go after their political opponents. Biden guilty of undermining our Constitution and freedoms guaranteed therein. Biden has proven he's unfit for the office of the presidency. And just seconds ago, Joe Biden releasing a campaign statement. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. In case you're wondering if the Biden campaign is behind all of this, they just released a fundraising email. Please give us more money, they said. Donate here. Help us keep Donald Trump in prison. Keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office, is what they say. Yeah. Help keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office. Lena Hava saying this is an atrocity. Pray for our nation. We deeply believe in prayer here, and that we shall do. The Biden-Harris campaign statement on today's verdict also out. It is exactly what you think it is. New York today, we saw that nobody is above the law. Oh, got it. Why isn't Hunter Biden in prison? Donald Trump is always mistakenly. Why isn't Joe Biden in prison? Joe Biden has handled classified documents. The DOJ said so, yet they refused to charge him. Donald Trump always mistakenly believed that he would never face consequences for breaking the law for his own personal gain. Today's verdict does not change the fact that the American people face a simple reality. There's only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office, at the ballot box. Convicted felon or not. There we go. Trump will be the Republican nominee for president. Convicted felon or not. Hot damn. there's going to be some major viewership for the Biden
Oh yes.
Trump debates. The stakes could never be higher. Mike Davis saying today's verdict from a partisan, corrupt, and rigged trial just guarantee Donald Trump's landslide victory on November 5th, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Davis sounding off, dear friend of the show, really smart and wise, and was on earlier with us. And from your mouth, God's ears, Mike, also sounding off, because why not? Let's just go in. Is Alex Jones, who just released a video on this, and okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently we do not have that loaded and ready. We apologize. It is a breaking news. We have a big production stack here, and it's a breaking news environment, and it takes us a second to load. We have some major announcements, though. Some of the reactions here are crazy. Jonathan Turley from Fox News reacting from inside of the courthouse. This is something we haven't heard yet. Jonathan Turley from Fox News inside of the courthouse. What was the reaction like? What was Donald Trump like? How did Donald Trump react? We had Donald Trump's comments live. What was it like inside? Here we go.
All right, Judge, I want to bring in Professor Jonathan Turley, who has been in the courtroom today. So you're fresh out of there. Can you give us any of the flavor? Because when we thought that the court was going to break for the day, it seems like President Trump and his team seemed relaxed, that he was smiling. Maybe they thought, okay, this jury is still struggling. They're going to leave tonight not having made a decision. Then we get word that verdict is coming in. What can you tell us about the mood inside the courthouse?
It was one of the most bizarre moments I've had in a courtroom, and I was just observing. The judge had just said that the jury could not reach a decision and that we would be dismissed for the day. Some reporters actually gathered their stuff and was starting to leave. And then the judge came and basically said, my mistake, we just got a note saying there's a verdict. Throughout this time, you could feel the building pressure in that courtroom. The one person that didn't seem to register it was the former president. He had been chatting with counsel. He didn't show any emotion at all as this mantra of guilty verdicts was read. And there was a great, I think that this is one of those things that is really embodies the entire Trump era. There were people who clearly were thrilled by the result, and there were people that will be very sad by it. I was saddened to watch it. I disagree with this verdict. I think, as I've said before, that this case was legally unfounded. When they were reading those guilty verdicts, the one thing that we didn't know is really what he was found guilty of. Because if you remember, the judge allowed the jury to find guilt on any one of 3 secondary crimes. We weren't told whether the jury found any one of those crimes, whether they found all 3 of those crimes. I'm not too sure we will know that. That's one of the many issues that I think presents reversible problems in this case. So what I would say is that this is a historic moment. We all have to take a breath. But for those upset by this verdict, remember this remains a country committed to the rule of law. And this is going to go up on appeal. I think it's going to be reversed in the state or federal systems. But it's moments like this when you're on the other side, when you disagree with a verdict, that you have to take a leap of faith in the rule of law. It's what defines us. Many people feel that this case really embodied the antithesis of that. But as a country as a whole, we have a system in place to review this. For Donald Trump, that's not going to happen before the election in all likelihood. But let's keep in mind that this is not the only court. It's just the first one.
Well, and there have also
Just sickening.
What's his likelihood of getting a fair shake in any New York court, including appeals?
There's no way
They're all going to be working toward the same thing.
This is some awesome result. This is a predictable result.
Yes.
It is a result that will seemingly galvanize people to Donald Trump. I can't imagine anybody who would be celebrating this other than people who already viscerally loathe
And who
Trump
have no idea what's going
and are
on.
squealing.
Has
at
Well,
to
I
be
think
watching.
this will push a lot of people
burning
off the
embers,
fence one way or another.
ashes of civilization that
It happened to
once was a
anybody.
republic. Not exactly sure what it is right now. An oligarchy, something like a soft fascism. I mean, if you can do this to a guy because you
It's
don't
a
like the color of his
it's a
skin,
fucking
you
war,
don't
dude.
you don't like the
Mhm.
cut of his jib, because
I
it threatens
mean,
your power.
this
You just
people
put him in
just
jail for
have the
nothing.
archetype of tanks
Nobody even
and
is sure what
soldiers
the
in their
nobody's
minds.
even sure
They don't
what the charges
understand
were.
that war is more than that.
It is sickening, and it's exactly what Fox
This
News
is a
is
much
calling
more
it.
sophisticated type of
Pretty
war.
charged language here.
What's up, Wicked
for
Wookie? How you
Fox, that's
doing?
for certain.
Hey.
A
Yeah.
sickening
Hopefully
result,
that
ladies
message
and
is loud and clear to people.
gentlemen,
And if they ever want to have
from
liberty
McCarthy.
themselves,
Look,
it's
United
time
States
to wake up.
by his partisan adversaries. Whatever you think of the results, it's inconceivable in New York that anyone else other than Donald Trump would ever been indicted in this way by Alvin Bragg, the elected progressive Democratic district attorney who campaigned on the fact that he would go after Donald Trump, that he had a history of going after Donald Trump. This is a very
New Yorkers
political
are embarrassed to the core right now.
exercise, and
They
you have to say that
absolutely
it
are, I can
accomplished what
guarantee it.
set out to accomplish. What they wanted was to have a situation where they could call Donald
I just
Trump
hope they keep their
a
tempers in
convicted
check.
felon in the run-up to the election. We have an elected Democrat who got that accomplished. He got a very friendly
You know they're gonna
judge
stage shit.
who ruled his way on
Oh,
every
yeah,
important
without a
thing
doubt.
and turned
Protest,
the
that is.
jury instructions into a roadmap to conviction.
They're gonna agitate.
So now I assume, with the mission having been accomplished, we'll have more
Feds are rolling
procedural
in.
regularity, Shannon. As you just said, there'll be a pre-sentence investigation.
There
There
is.
should be a sentencing scheduled, and we'll go from there. But this case will be appealed, and I hope that there'll be more fairness and equity in the appeal than there was in the trial.
I doubt it.
So we'll see.
I've lived
Never
here way too
surrender.
long.
Stay focused. God help America. And wow. Sentencing
Hashtag free
Donald
Trump.
on
It should be
July
trending before you
11th,
know it.
4 days
Yep.
before the national convention. This cuts against our
I agree with that. Big
esprit de
time.
corps on this
That's what we're
show
kind of keeping an eye out on now.
because we're
Well,
constantly
Benny's trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
but it's
It's like
hard to see how this is
it's a corruption,
good.
and it's all
For
about
you
the
to have a
corruption.
functional country, you have to have some shared faith and some shared trust in institutions and systems in this nation.
2020 was sort of
And
woken
it's
people up.
hard to not see that faith completely atomized in a moment like that.
Take your swing.
How
They took their
do
swing and
you
they
put a president in
connected.
prison for bookkeeping records. That's it. That's what you found. You've been promising.
But
you
it's
put
not the
Trump in
win that
jail,
they think it
he's
is.
a traitor.
No.
And that he's an insurrectionist.
No, and they
he's,
tied
you know,
both
Russian
of his hands
asset.
behind his back.
That he's Vladimir Putin. He's
Same
literally
time.
run by Vladimir Putin. That's
And they
what
took
they
their
tell people.
weak ass swing.
And I guess when you sell them that bill of goods, the ends justify the
That's
means.
the only way a bully
You've
wins.
psychologically broken people so much
Yep.
that you have to put them in prison. Then Brett Tolman said he thinks
They
that Donald Trump's
always
gonna go
have to
jail.
cheat.
You ready for that?
Yep.
Oh man. First time I've heard that, but Brett Tolman's a really wise man, and we've seen him make some really strong predictions, and they all come true.
They can't
So,
stand on
what
their
are they gonna do?
virtues. They have none.
They're gonna lock up their political.
They can't stand on their platform. It's
What does that
awful.
mean? That means the American experiment as we know it, the best experiment in governance and self-governance ever, is done. It'll change forever. It's not over. The country is not over as we know it, but it changes forever. Starting that today, actually. And so this is what we stare down the barrel of. What kind of country do you want to live in? I want to live in a country like this, where there's a superstructure and a power structure that can just take away your freedom, like that. And I guess you saw it during COVID. You already saw sort of the groundwork of this and the soft coup that rolled into Donald Trump's first term, hatched by Barack Obama.
Never will either.
Where all of this, where this crisis truly began. Secret meetings to spy on Trump, to launch hoaxes and conspiracies against him, to impeach him in his first few months as president. This is where it all began.
Zach.
And so remember the
Thanks for
Comey
the
rule,
$5.
where we don't investigate
Working
or
on
open
it.
investigations into presidential candidates? Where
I'm
the
waiting.
hell is
Let
that?
everybody talk first.
Remember that?
Thank you
So
for the
here we go.
$5, Zach.
You're so sweet.
Will
Thank you, Zach.
this hurt or harm Donald Trump? Well, let's go to the Trump campaign for reaction.
Here we go.
You
Reaction.
have their official reaction is an ad that was cut today in what will presumably be the official messaging of this. You can tell sort of in the ad that you have to assume that if the Trump campaign, which released this ad before the verdict, that they were preparing for a guilty verdict. Watch and you decide.
Oh God.
Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart.
I don't know if that's a copyrighted song or not.
So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Just have to deal with it.
I'll never go back
Loud.
down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town.
My worry is now what legislation are they going to pass to change election proceedings or election protocols
Right.
to tilt it in their favor? That's what we got to be on the watch out for.
Exactly. Sorry if I've been loud. I'm just missing my audios. I don't understand why I come in here and my audio is always cranked up. Like I never adjusted.
I could barely hear you anyway.
Oh.
If you're looking for what this is going to result in, ladies and gentlemen, that's the messaging. That's the messaging. The messaging is Donald Trump triumphant and ready to fight. Donald Trump walking into the arena. The show's called In the Arena. Donald Trump walking into the arena. Do you wish to be in the arena? We are seeing reports from all across social media that the Trump campaign donation website has crashed. Some people saying that they're donating millions of dollars to Trump. Some people saying that they're donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to Trump today. From all across the political landscape, a lot of people, Democrats, or
Well, in true
independent
fashion,
people, saying that this is what they've decided. This was it. This was where
well, in true Trump fashion, this should turn around and bite them in the ass. So
Scavino,
it may seem dark right
who is
now.
the digital mouthpiece for Donald Trump, saying
And it
Winbred
is.
is down due to overwhelming amount of support.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to beat us into submission, take away everything.
Moralization.
The site will be up and running very
Take
soon.
away everything, and then we got nothing left to
Trump
fight for, so we just stop fighting and capitulate. And that's not going to happen.
Dan Scavino, they're effectively confirming
He won't allow that to
there
happen.
is just far too much traffic. I'm clicking on the link right now, and that there's nothing. It's an error link, and there's too many donations rolling in. Again, independent-minded people and Democrats and non-political people are saying that they're donating hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to Trump right now, all across social media. Will this backfire? We do our very best to show you what's going on throughout the chattering classes and ecosystem. And so let's go to MSNBC. How are they actually?
Oh God, this is getting infuriating.
God, that Joy Reid must be wetting herself.
Jacob, what's up, buddy?
We've said this many times.
Hey,
Right?
Castro.
Evil doesn't care.
Castro.
They don't care about you. It doesn't care about this nation. It just cares about power and whether they are in control of power. And so evil will do anything.
Deep
They'll
breath.
rule.
Deep
They'll
breath.
burn a nation to ashes and then rule over the ashes. That is the nature of evil.
Yep.
And so
Destruction.
be extremely cautious in when you hear somebody celebrating this, bringing the nation to ashes, burning the nation to ashes for the pursuit of power. You have found your evil. A reminder that Donald Trump didn't prosecute Hillary Clinton. Now, in hindsight, seeming like a horrible miscalculation, because he thought it'd be bad for America. He said this many times. It'd be bad for America. position to prosecute his political enemy.
Yeah, he's gonna have to change that
Here's how
attitude right now.
MSNBC is reacting.
Mm-hmm.
And he was served this accountability today. He is now a convicted felon in his one-time home state of New York.
And he's been convicted of 34
This bitch.
felonies.
God, meat breath.
And he is not just a former president. He is the Republican Party's nominee for president. I will go back to a point I made earlier, which
Worst
is that I think
haircut
the
ever.
Republican Party has a decision to make now as to whether or not it is okay to be convicted of 34 felonies and still hold the nomination of that party for their presidency. For the presidency, he's the presumptive nominee. He is not the official nominee of that party. They can choose somebody else at this point.
They're not
if
gonna.
these felony convictions,
Yeah, but they're gonna
mean
try
what
to
they have
sell them. They're
always
gonna try to
meant
sell the country
for
on it.
everybody else in U.S. history who has encountered the criminal justice system while they were also standing for political office. The Republican Party will take that seriously. And
This
may
woman needs
reconsider
to be
that
in
matter.
jail for
But
the rest
Can I
of
ask
her
you a
life.
question about
Yes,
that?
please.
I mean,
So
She's despicable.
here we have it,
Disgusting.
ladies and gentlemen. The official response from
Willful,
Donald Trump on
willful,
Truth
sir,
Social,
willful,
something that we've
willful,
seen before. The official
willfully
response to
subverting the
Donald-
country.
Donald
That's what I'm
Trump,
looking
the
for.
first thing that
Absolutely.
Donald Trump has posted since this
Willfully and
conviction posted just
intentionally.
seconds ago. We'll get it loaded up for you here. Gloating,
Because make no mistake, they didn't just target him.
Gloating,
This is to target
joy.
all of us.
squeeing giddiness from MSNBC, can barely keep it in their pants, whatever's down there, if anything. And
You're absolutely right,
just
Wolfram.
absolutely slobbering over the words convicted felon. So
Please
get
hit
ready
that
to
like
own those words.
thumbs up over there in Rumble. Follow, please.
Get ready to own those words, convicted felon.
And we all need to
Yes,
stick
please.
together.
This is what the angle was in the first place. Just to smear Donald Trump. It's the wrap-up smear.
Of course
They
they
really
want it.
want a civil war. It's not just
So
course they
we
do.
have Donald Trump's
They've been
official reaction
setting it up the entire time.
posted on
Mhm.
Truth
But it's already
Social.
happening.
ALX says it's in testing, but want to obviously get to that in this.
Looks like we're gonna get it. Yep.
It's already they've already had it. Now they're just gonna get a response to it. They've been trying to do it for
Is that the polls will swing in Trump's favor
the entire time.
after this?
The
I do believe
border,
that.
the schools,
My prediction is that there's going to be
the justice
an enormous
system,
number of people leaving
the
New York.
unfair,
Nobody wants to. Democrats don't want to live under this. Nobody wants to live under
unbalanced
the system.
approach to
The system will turn on you.
politics.
You
in
can
this
see
country.
how it worked in the Soviet Union.
Subversive
Stalin
establishment
didn't stop
media.
at his direct political enemies. It went direct. He went
Yeah, there you
immediately
go.
to the people. And so expect that.
Yeah,
I
it's all on the
know
internet,
that.
It's true.
The state of New York is done forever. The state of New York, no one will keep their businesses in New York. Imagine the precedent that you're setting. It's a step back. For
It takes
a moment
time for those things
from
to
politics.
take
That's the
effect.
precedent that you're setting right now for people who have businesses. It's just wild. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump's reaction posted on Truth Social, pretty poignant video that doesn't have any words to it, but does have some pretty some iconography that you will recognize. Let's go, baby.
This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our...
Load this. We're going to load this. We're going to load this so that it plays correctly. Just give us a moment here. Again, we are in a breaking news environment.
Okay, so we know where we're
This is
going.
our 7.5. This is
So
our 7 hour and 30
don't go
minute
anywhere
mark
because we
being
got to do
logged.
this.
Final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
You want to know who
All
those
right.
memberships went to?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the
They went out
first
to Valhalla Awaits,
Trump
Michael Zizippo,
authoritative
Dark
reaction.
Angel, Planet
Donald Trump.
X Watcher, and Past.
All right.
Revenge tour.
Welcome to the winner circle, everybody. Thank you. Sorry that was a short
Looks like
version of that,
that's
but they
what
started
we're
playing the
going to see
video.
next. Donald
See, that's
Trump.
again. I don't. War is not just guns.
Not broken. verify this.
It's not just
No.
guns.
Here's the first official footage of Donald
No.
Trump leaving.
It's 90,
the courthouse.
95%
Trump walking
something
out
other than guns.
of the
Last
courthouse,
5% is kinetic.
and heading to his vehicle with his team.
Wow, that blonde hair really
Donald
makes him an
Trump,
easy target.
Also,
Yeah.
out front of Trump Tower seconds ago.
They need to
at
get him a
the end of
hat.
This, we don't have a shot of Donald Trump.
I don't trust nobody now.
Through Manhattan, we have Donald Trump outside of his home in New York, outside of Trump Tower in New York. Here we go.
Less likely, Speaker Mike Johnson is saying.
All right, let's listen in
Going on
to see if
their
we can
end.
hear anything at the Donald Trump there. Hold on.
Greg is going to speak at 6:30 in 10
This is
minutes.
Donald Trump. Let's go back to the beginning of that and
Bragg?
clip, please. Let's watch.
Yep, the
Donald
AJ.
Trump fist pump, the clapping, the thank you, the smiling, the pointing right down the barrel of the camera there, and the official, resilient, defiant, which is actually what I'd call this from Donald Trump. Defiant has been the mood. That is what we've seen. Defiance, ladies and gentlemen. The vast majority of Americans already believe that the attacks on Donald Trump are politically motivated.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to change that. It's going to increase that. 59% of Americans believe that Joe Biden is part of the weaponization of government. This is not going to change that, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to increase that.
I understand that,
So
Castro.
now, Donald Trump, this is incredible. Holy smokes. This is remarkable. Check this out. Okay, so here's Donald Trump's official fundraising website. Wow. Look at this image. Donald Trump's official fundraising website, political prisoner. Right now. Political prisoner. Look at that. It looks like it's back up. It crashed, and now it's back up. Political prisoner, Donald Trump. I was just convicted in a rigged political witch hunt. I did nothing wrong. They've raided my home, arrested me, took my mugshot, and now they've just convicted me. With your support, we will make America great again. So there we go. We must make Joe Biden regret ever coming after us. Donald Trump's going to break all political fundraising records. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Incredible. Real quick here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we are in a breaking news environment. Byron Donald, my team is telling me that Byron Donalds was on Fox and that it is a must see and a must play. We've sort of wrapped up all of our reactions here. If that's the case, then please send along ALX. Let's go ahead and get our reactions.
Yeah, because Bragg is going in like 7 minutes.
Get our final reactions in here, as we have been live for 7.5 hours. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our friend Byron Donalds reacting live on Fox.
You already see the fact that they are crooked. They do not care about our institutions. They just like to go on camera and say that they do. They like to give sound bites and phrases about how they say that they do. But what's really happening in America is that these crazy radical Democrats led by Joe Biden, they are getting rich on this system. They are taking advantage of the working people of America in this system. And then the media covers up for them while they give talking points about how they stand for the little guy. That is a joke. And the one president in the last 25 years, really 35 years, that has stood for the little guy is Donald J. Trump.
Do you agree with that? I sure as hell do. I don't know how anybody could possibly agree with this. In fact, it's amazing. My feed is just filled with left wingers. I mean, this is crazy. It's filled with left wingers. I mean, I know that there's going to be plenty of like brain dead people who make a lot of money off this, but the people who like Bill Ackman is not a right wing dude. He's not. He's a Democrat donor. He's a billionaire. Bill Ackman. I think that any objective person would agree with Ron DeSantis here. This is the Ron DeSantis post on X that we showed you earlier. We read the entire thing earlier, but it talks about the political debasement of our justice system in places like New York City is a blow to the rule of law. And that this is
That's
only
right,
happening
Wolfram.
because the man's name is Donald Trump. Piers Morgan is well, I mean, Warren, he's not even an American, but he's somebody who's many would consider like left wing on so many issues. I deign to call him a leftist. Piers Morgan. This is a sad, shameful, and ridiculous day in America to drag a former president who's running for president again through criminal courts over something so trivial as fees. So trivial feels like a massive overreach and incredibly divisive and obviously political partisan action. Man, yeah. Lee Zeldin just secured $800,000 donation from somebody for President Trump's joint fundraising committee. I've never experienced a massive ask that easy, says Lee Zeldin, who is obviously working with and for Donald Trump and who ran for governor in New York. Incredible. Incredible. Just an outpouring of support from Donald Trump. People getting robbed in San Francisco. Great. Won't go to jail. Donald Trump will go to jail. Guy who does the being robbed at gunpoint won't go to jail. Yeah. What Democrats did today in New York won't hurt Donald Trump. It may even help him. What Democrats hate has done to this country and rule of law is almost incomprehensibly dangerous. All honest people must fight it. Donald Trump posting an upside down American flag. Wow. Wow. After Biden's disastrous presidency, again, David Sachs, not a right-wing MAGA guy. After Biden's disastrous presidency, Trump had a lot of supporters in Silicon Valley. Many are just afraid to admit it. But with each act of courage like this one, the dam begins to break. And ladies and gentlemen, this is America First Legal here with a country in crisis. So what do we do now? What do you do? Well, if you don't like
Complete
what happened
disregard
to
for the
Donald
most
Trump,
powerful
there's this amazing special hack.
document in our
Special
history.
little tool that was provided to us by people that you and I have never met, but that we are related to. We are the ancestors of them. They are our founding fathers. And they wrote this incredible document called the Constitution. And it outlines the separation of powers. And it outlines in Article 2 what the presidency is. And the power that the
All right.
president has, and pretty awesome powers. It's a lot of power.
All right. He's just, I get it.
And it's
Jenny. I
aimed
get
for
it.
too much power in our modern day, but nonetheless. If you don't like,
I'm gonna mute him until we go back to something that's not, I can't word myself, right? Like an interview or something.
So we're waiting for your rant.
My rant. I mean, in times like times like this, I'm just like, I hope it rings clear. I know it rings clear to the people that are here, but to anybody who may be listening over on X, got 150 over there watching, over on Rumble, it goes up and down. It's got like 11 over there right now. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, follow, just let people know you're serious about taking this country back by supporting a channel that's dedicated to it. And we need these shocking moments sometimes to get action, to get people out of their slumber. Like Benny was pointing out, there are people that are even, generally taken in by the establishment, don't see they don't see the reality of our situation. They're very much boxed in, and they don't understand what they're looking at here, right? they're still in team sports. They're still in a false left-right paradigm. They're still lingering in subversion. But these moments, these shocking moments, these massive shocking moments can actually turn around and be a good thing. It could shake people out. Like, you're gonna hopefully hear and meet somebody one day that's gonna be like, yeah, I was totally against them until that trial. And I realized what a sham that was.
Mhm.
Or that it could be effective to anybody, or that, that they had their moment of clarity. But I mean, it is frustrating when you look around, right? We all know there's problems going on. Most people want somebody else to fix it for them. Most people think they can just sit back and get high and just check out, and that everything is going to be just fine, just like in the movies on TV. All these that have a stake in them. So so sometimes these things, these horrifying things have to happen because they're going to go ahead and do it, and they're going to see if you'll let them. And this happens over and over and over again. 2020 elections, big, big moment right there, right? Because they don't realize that, hey, if it can steal it from one side, you can steal it from the other. That if you care about your vote, if you care about everybody having a fair shake, then you will care about when the other side doesn't get one. Let me see what he's saying right now.
What is a
He's just looking at the
mass
crowd.
of people?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. The truth of the matter is more people like him than more people hate the establishment. More people like Donald Trump than they'll ever let us know. And again, pure sign that when our information's been co-opted and been taken over and been corrupted, that we're not in a good place as a country. So these things are just escalations. I mean, the witch hunts that went on for all 4 years of his presidency, they still went by. Now, at the same time, it's time for Trump to take the next step.
And that would be.
Well, he has to. If he gets in, he needs to take the next step. It's time for the anti-establishment to take the next step, which means we have to get in there and clear house. And I don't get, they're breaking the rules. The system's corrupt. They don't get to weasel out of things anymore. Their arrests have to be made. People have to be exported or sentenced to, long-term prison sentences. They need to be removed from power. The same way they're trying to do him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these
Only
people are
justifiable reasons.
Yeah, but they're literally breaking the law in our face and we can't do anything about it. And that's when the time comes to take action. And once the new administration gets in, they need to find a way, whatever it is. There's some mechanism in our law somewhere that leads to swift action. If they're considered enemies of the state, then they can take action that doesn't, that basically says, hey, look, these people just have to be removed now. And whatever. It needs to be done. I mean, because we can't. It's just like with anybody who's corrupt or bully or whatever, right? They're going to engage in unfair. You can't have a conversation with them. It's like trying to talk to some of these fools, out there. They got their minds made up about their conspiracy grifts and their other shit, and they get out there and all they do is they use Alinsky's rules for radicals, even though they probably never read them or taught to them. They know. And they just do ridicule, and they make up untrue things, and they try to make you live up to some kind of your moral standards, which they don't. All the rules that we just went over on that in that stream, going over it, you can see that in real practice. That's why I went over them when I did, so everybody would have that fresh in their memory. So, you're not going to have a reasonable conversation. You're not going to work things out because one side is at war against you. The other side thinks that we're just having a fair contest of ideas. It's a big difference. They want to fundamentally change the country, and they want to hand over our sovereignty to a bigger global government. It's all there. It's been happening for years. It's been happening for decades. They had to slowly move us into this. That's the subversion part of it. Then slowly move us into this place. And the apathy part of it and the distraction part of it. All these people out there who are going to be so horrified, or maybe not today. We can't think of one effort they've put towards, preventing it. So it's just like, people here show up, they learn things, they try to better themselves, and they become vigilant on the issues and the right issues, right? But for all those other people out there, this will go sit around and watch a bunch of people seeking attention on streams, or watch drama, or watch whatever. There's times and places for that. But that's all you do, the world passes you by.
Mm-hmm.
Mix up your information. Mix it up. Do all of it, but make sure that you keep your eye on the ball. And this is what happens when we don't. I mean, this is generations. It took generations to get to this point. It didn't just happen overnight. It didn't just happen because Joe Biden got in. It's been happening for a long time. It's just because he's the biggest threat to them. That's why they've had to go to this lengths to unveil so much of their corruption. And that's what he's great at. He's great at unveiling corruption in the system. He unveiled the media corruption. He unveils the political corruption, and he's unveiling the corruption in the justice system. He is like the beacon of light. Look at that nasty man at the bottom.
So
Yeah,
gross.
people are happy to vote for him. He's a nasty person. Gross. There's his master. Over and over and over again. There's more of their these are the people that are destroying the country. So it's Wake Up America Day. Look at this crap. Look at this. This is disgusting.
It's a cult.
Right. It's a cult, but it's an organized crime racket
Mm-hmm.
that is in place. Who's going in the arena here? We got somebody coming in the arena. Let's see who's going to talk to you. I'll put him up. But oops.
He ended.
It's okay. Let's say to that. All right, cool. I guess he's been going for 7 hours. We'll find something else to look at, I'm sure. But I mean, what else can you do, man? It's shock day. Okay, here's the thing. Everybody just keep it online. Keep it online. I mean, I know nobody is gonna hear my voice that's gonna be out there right now or be considering adding to this day and making it worse. We need to be communing, buckled in online or whatever, but not out in the streets. It's not going to do any good. They're just going to turn the optics on us, right? They're going to spin it. The worst thing we can do right now is engage in any kind of outward protest. It needs to be online where we thrive. It needs to be information based to counter the disinformation. And we need to go where we can reach the most people. You're not going to reach the most people in the middle of the street. What do you do? What do you even protest in the middle of the street? What does that do? It's not going to change the corrupt judge. It's not going to change the corrupt jury. It's not going to do anything but get somebody's ass in trouble and then create a bunch of January 6th rhetoric. That's all it's going to do. Like, we need to be smarter than them.
Smart and calm.
They're always going to be more clever and crafty and evil than us, right? They're going to have a moral standard, no moral standard, where they're going to make, we're going to have one. They're going to expect us to live up to it. But I mean, that's why so many people go to kinetic war, right? They go, that's the only end result. It doesn't have to be that. It could be head off just by going, okay, these people they've broken the law on such a level that the response has to be immediate. The judge should be dragged out in cuffs. I mean, that kind of verdict, that kind of like jury instruction, that kind of trial, it was all a sham and everybody knew it. So how do we deal with that stuff? How do we reform these things? Where's the well, we'll wait and see because it's going to come. The saving grace will come in. It does. It does. That if you follow the pattern, every time they try to do something to them, something swoops in and pulls them out. And the truth is the way. Truth is the way. I don't know how much more I could say about this, other than we all knew it was just corrupt. The raid on Mar-a-Lago,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the unfair treatment between parties. It's been in our face the whole time. So I'm not sure that anybody's all that surprised. They were probably hopeful that it wouldn't be this way. But no. I mean, why would any corrupt, destructive people like the ones that have been allowed to be in charge, why would they be anything but what they are? Why would we expect anything else? Like, you think Biden's going to come out and be like, you know what? I watched this. This wasn't fair. I'm putting my foot down on this. No way. No way. He's just going to, he's going to double down on it, expose himself even further. Like I said, the one thing Trump does great is expose. Now he needs to be great at cleaning house. And realize they aren't fighting fair. They're never going to fight fair. They're always going to be dirty. They're always going to expect us to have a moral resolve in this, and we should. But to what point? I mean, you want fairness in a corrupt system? There's no such thing. You have to uncorrupt the system to get fairness back. How do you do that? You have to remove the enablement of the corruption. You have to remove the people that are enabling the corruption, that are participating in the corruption. You have to go get them and remove them physically. You have to stop them. That's it. I mean, we got to win this election, and then when we have the seats of power, we have the authority, clean the freaking house out. That's what we're hoping for right now. That's the plan. That's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to do everything, and they know it's the plan, and they're going to do everything in their power to stop it. So expect anything.
No, I agree. I agree on all fronts.
We go to the streets. Who's going to fight who? How are we going to know what side is which? I mean, the whole idea of we're not going to get the blue and the gray out. Yeah, the whole idea that there's going to be some kind of like recognizable civil war in this country is ridiculous. And the people that have been pushing, oh my god, no, it's going to be like you've never a conflict like we've never seen in this country. Mobs of people doing this, mobs of people doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Shit getting shut down and fucked up for everybody. We don't want that. Stay inside. Don't let that happen, because it's not going to be armies.
Yeah, don't engage in that.
It's going to be mobs. That's got to be the message that has to be put out there right now. As hard as any other message. Yes, go at these leftists online. Let them know that this is coming for them too. That this is their country. This is what they throw democracy in their face. You think this is democracy? Or whatever their religion is. Like, throw it in their face.
Well, that's the thing. They use words they don't understand either.
Yeah. Go find somebody who's running their mouth and have an argument with them, and it'll make you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, I heard this. Oh, you heard? Did you understand it? I doubt it.
Better than going out in the streets and trying to do it there. That's ridiculous, because there's all kinds of infiltration that's going to be happening. There's going to be agitators. There's going to be feds everywhere. There's going to be media everywhere to capture it. There's going to, they're marching out right now. They're getting their signs. They're putting on their black masks. They're looking for you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them find you.
No.
right? They'll look because they're going to be on the streets looking for a fight, so that we can spin this up, so we can again destabilize more of society, bring more of society to crises, right? And then the media will just run with it, and this will be the whole, lead up to the election, where they try to subvert more and more people.
Mhm.
Only on these violent people, and they never ever
Discredit them.
admit when they're doing it. They never ever say when they're doing it. What's everybody saying? Five.
Hmm.
Yeah, right. No doubt, no doubt. But I don't know what else to say about this. It's a rigged game, and we know it is. We know it's a rigged game. We have to get.
I mean, you called this a couple hundred times. I was hoping that it wouldn't turn out like this, but I didn't hold out a lot of hope. I really didn't. Because I know how it works around here. I mean, it's the mob mentality is what pushes people to do things. And they're just a lot louder. That's part of the problem. Is that if you stand up for Trump, right away you're attacked by 30 people you never met who suddenly tear down everything about your character, everything wrong with whatever. And it's just endless vitriol. It's the same talking points that are untrue. It's so much projection and so much, like spin on things. Well, you didn't know, actually, that was your side that did that. Well, you said, no, actually, that was your side that did that. Like, they don't have evidence. So they use hyperbole, and they use like rumor, and they blow everything up verbally. And they're like, okay, well, now we got you all emotional and whatever. So the people who are like, oh my God, they're so afraid of Trump. I don't get what they're afraid of. Are you afraid of somebody who's going to stand up for your rights? Are you afraid of somebody who's, I don't know, working for you to have a better life? Who's working for you to have the money you earn put back in your pocket? Who's working for, you to spend money on things at an appropriate friggin' price? So you're not broke all the time. So you're not literally stretching paychecks till they cry. Like, what are you afraid of? You should be afraid of the side that all they care about is, trans rights and DEI and, oh, well, we're going to get rid of this and we're going to get rid of that. And really, like, all you want to do is suppress us and make it so that you can control us. And nobody's afraid of that. We are, but the people backing them, I don't understand the blindness. I don't understand how they can just, it feels like they're standing there with their arms crossed like toddlers stamping their foot saying, no, I'm right. I don't like him. Like, no justification, no reasoning, no logic. And they just won't budge. It's almost like that libertarian thing that he went to, where they were like, yeah, vote for me. No, what? I don't. Okay, let's nominate somebody who goes against everything we believe in. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the mentality that keeps them in that place.
Yeah, the system is fine
so many times
as it is, but it's a corrupted system. They've corrupted it. There's corrupt people throughout. There's bills and laws and policies and things that have been passed that subvert the Constitution. The Constitution is just fine. That's what people like us are trying to get put back into place. We want to see a world where this Constitution is allowed to be what it is. But they've been working for generations, many administrations, to subvert the Constitution. In fact, that's what put me on this bent in the first place. Like, where I'm at today is the fact that I understood that it was always been an attack on the Constitution, and when that's gone, our rights are gone. It's a contract that secures our rights, and when they subverted it enough, every link of here, as you say, hijacked from by the Marxist mentality, the Marxist philosophy, the Marxist legacy, whatever you want to call it, right? The Marxist mind virus, right? Elitism, everything. Every law that reflects that philosophy is a subversion of our Constitution, and literally is the antithesis of our Constitution. And it's designed to destroy. It is destructive. There are creators and destroyers in this world. If you haven't noticed, you guys know the Nick Recated thing. Look how many people are trying to are thriving off destruction. People, they live for the destruction of somebody. I mean, I get it. There's criticism to be had in that case, right? But they literally live to destroy. Like there's people channels and they have nothing. They do
They're
nothing on that
vultures.
channel except for just find sound bites and clips and run someone into the ground for they don't even really even know. Just for the thrill, they get dopamine off of destroying other people, right? And they don't even realize how inherently bad they are for being that way. And that, there's creation and destruction. Creation, it follows the light, right? Let there be light, and there's creation. You can put all kinds of philosophies behind it, right? And the darkness is in destruction, breaking it apart. They're in a cycle together. So I guess these people are part of the cycle. But the we've come to a point where there's more destroyers than creators. And then the creators need to be stronger and to understand the world better and not go to sleep on things. Right? Because the destroyers never stop. They never stop. But, in a world where people are more demoralized, the destroyers get more of the attention. They get more of the lift. They get more of the success, right? And that breeds more destruction. Like, I mean, seriously, there's been channels. I'm not even going to go into this Nick thing because we're talking about Trump. Because you could equate them from micro to macro. But yeah, education, right? The generational warfare. That's what I talk about here is generational warfare. If the common man would learn the Constitution, would rights are and vote locally for decent people, we can turn around. Well, I like to think so, but I also know that there's an embedded corruption within here already that's been established that needs to be scraped out. I don't know what that means. I don't have the full vision of how that's done. But I know that the root cause issues, if they're not resolved, nothing will change. Okay, you can band-aid every fucking symptom in the world. It ain't gonna change the fact that there's a root cause issue that's causing the symptoms to erupt.
Yeah, it's not going to get rid of the infection.
No.
And
Yeah, I
it's
hate
systemic.
even with Ricada thing. Yeah, he's done some terrible things, but absolute glee and celebration make me. Yeah, right. And it just exposes them too. Exposes how these are people with real problems, right? Probably problems that are worse than Nick's. To be honest, Nick came went from one place to another in a very short period of time, and a lot of it stems off many different influences, right? But they are just like because they're already losers. When someone that isn't a loser loses or falls down, they just, man, it's like the triple headache, I don't even know how to, of dopamine to the max, right? They're just so high off their own fumes that they can't stand it, and they just need more and more and more. And then people enable it, it, because people, they don't want the drama, they don't see the harm in it, they don't understand the bigger meanings of it. And yep, the tree of liberty must be watered. It is coming to be about that time. I mean, I don't know how I can't see how it's going to go down other than the complete destruction of society. I mean, in small pockets to big pockets. Maybe it'll be that moment of clarity that'll make people come together and say enough. In other countries, they make it look so easy. They just mob out and they pull the dude out of their little palace and they string him up in the street, and it's all over. I mean, we're doing it. Maybe we're doing it wrong, or we're just too damn nice here. I don't know. I mean, but we got to do it the right. I guess we got to be we got to be the example, right, of how you do it right.
You can't
I don't want to
perpetuate
see
misinformation like that and just the whole misery loves company, because they're just coming up with I've been all over Twitter. I've been watching all the feeds and I haven't said a word, and I'm not gonna, except that people like to manufacture evidence and run with it so they could say, look at me, I discovered this. I busted it wide open. I proved whatever. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Because with that, it's the same thing with Trump. Like, if you do this, then you don't care about this. No, two different things can exist in the same sphere. Two things can be true at the same time. And the whole, well, if you're doing this, if you believe this, then you don't care about, the kids, or you don't care about, whatever Trump stands for. Like, it's the same thing. Like, they say, well, if you like Trump, then you like mean tweets. You don't care about anything. I don't give a shit about mean tweets. I don't. I think we need somebody strong to stand up and show that this country still has some balls.
It's just not even
right
mean
now
tweets.
we're just
He's countering lies. It's a lying system. Like, we got to be nice to the bully. I mean, right? It's just this, all he's doing is pushing back, like we should have been doing the entire time against these people.
Yes,
that's all he's doing. Right? They're not mean tweets. They're accurate. And is it done in a harsh way? Yeah, because the bully deserves no quarter. It's the enablement. That's enablement. When you're nice to the bully, he ain't nice to you. He has no intentions to be nice to you. He has intentions to use your morality against you. Like, people think that somehow you have to be restrained to be moral. No, you can fight for good. That's allowed, especially because you're already under attack. That you're allowed to swing back in this world. That man, it's coming up on June. We're gonna get into natural law, universal law. We start talking about on Unveiling, right? We start talking about how the real system works in this world, the one beyond man, right? And why our laws are based on that system. They, originally, right? Why liberty is based on that system.
I think I would like to see some justice in this lifetime. I don't want to have to wait for them all to reach the hereafter to get judged. I want to see it on this plane of existence, because
it ain't about going anywhere else. It's about what you do. Like, literally, you're responsible for what you know and what you believe at the bottom line. So people can get away with deceiving and subverting you without much of a universal punishment, right? A recourse against it, because at the end of the day, ultimately, you have free will. See, it's about that free will. It's about that consent, and so because of that, but it's still an attack. You're still under an attack in a way, shape, or form. You have to respond to it accordingly. But just like if you're walking on the street and someone hits you, it becomes self-defense, right? They become the attacker, the assaulter, the one who's trying to take away your rights, your life, your enjoyment, right? They've created the assault. They've created the infraction. And at that point, you're free to respond without any consequences. Of course, when you have a subverted
unless it's the government assaulting you.
Yeah, when you have a corrupt society, then they break those rules, don't they?
Yep.
They seemingly get away with
it. Would go this far.
It builds and builds and builds until it eventually destroys them. So, the good part is that it will come around. I don't know what it'll look like and what we have to go through to get it to come around, but
it's going to get
universally speaking, it'll come around, I guess, or maybe not. I mean, maybe people are so apathetic they won't even go out and fight, and that
scares me more than anything.
Who are you going to fight? That's the whole thing. Who are you going to fight? Until someone puts on a uniform and identifies themselves and waves their battle flag, who are you going to fight? What group are you going to go after first? There's no target to swing on. Of course, if you go after the government while the establishment's in charge of it, they're going to turn around and use the monopoly of force they have. That's what I'm saying. Our destination is November 5th. 2024, and to make sure that election goes through properly, right? If that one turns into a shit show, that's when I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's probably that's when it's going to start escalating, and the uniforms and flags and banners will come out at that point. Then you'll know. Right now, fighting each other, it's not going to do any good.
We have to, we got to hope that the apathy doesn't carry over to election day, Because if people get to election day and they're like, well, everything is rigged, they did this to him, they're doing this to us, my vote doesn't count because they're just going to cheat anyway, so why bother? That's something I'm genuinely afraid of will be a contagious feeling across the nation. That they'll feel like, well, they're going to rig it anyway. They're going to cheat, they're going to win. So why bother? Why put in the effort?
Now
I'm
go
just going to hand it to them.
Go through November and then see what happens.
Like I said, that's my biggest fear. I'm not afraid of a civil war yet. Like you said, we're not 13 colonies anymore. It's a huge swath of land. That kind of thing is going to be virtually impossible. But there are other ways that they're fighting these wars. There are, sneakier ways. They're much more insidious. And the people that are on their side are so programmed that they don't know how to get out of that loop. They just keep getting fed these things and like, well, I always believed them before. I'll just keep doing it. This is what I've always done. This is what I've always known. I was there. I was stuck in that loop forever. It took something huge for me to go, whoa, wait, what's going on? And then I started to wake up, and what I saw, I couldn't believe that I'd never seen it before. And I felt ridiculously stupid. And some days I still do. But it's also, I'm not out there going, yeah, I'm for Trump or whatever, like in my town, because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the backlash of the targeting because they are like that. And I think a lot of people are fortunately on Trump's side. They're just silent about it because they know that they're going to be vilified for it. They know they're going to get met with nothing but opposition and you're so stupid. And now you're labeled this person. So now you must be like this. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I think we're a very strong nation. We always were. And when the pressure's on, that's when I feel like we're at our best. I do. So I'm hopeful for the future. I'm hoping that's where we go with this. People get themselves educated. They get themselves out of that programmed mindset and they look and say, hey, you know what? I might not like the guy, but I like what he's standing for. And that's what I want. Like, why would you work counter to your own benefit? Like, you're not going to get anywhere with Biden. You're going to get screwed over even worse. So if Trump is the one who's pushing these ideals and virtues and, these actions that you support, then support the man. Don't worry about the label of the party. Don't worry about orange man bad. Go for the one who's going to get you to your goal. And they don't do that. And I really hope they wake up and start doing that and start seeing that they're being played.
They don't understand that the establishment's against them too.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they're there to protect us. No, they're not. They're there to control you. They're there to restrict you. That's what laws do. The laws that they pass are not to allow you to do something. They're to restrict you. They're like, well, they legalized this, which meant they removed a prior restriction they put on you. They don't look at it that way. They're like, well, they're letting you? What do you mean letting you? It's our country. It's not the government's country. It's our country. We the people, not we the government, we the people. That's why I've been getting so crazy about constitutionality, because all these people, they're like, well, punish this person because they did this thing wrong. It doesn't matter that their constitutional rights were violated. No, whether you like somebody or don't like them, you have to stand behind the Constitution or nobody else will. If one person sees you say, oh, well, he's bad. Okay, he's bad. Then, screw his rights. No, it's not about popularity. It's not even if they're a good or bad person. We are guaranteed rights as citizens of this country. Stop giving the rights to the non-citizens of this country and give them back to the people who actually, are here legally, were born here and contributed to society and aren't just a drain. Stop giving these rights to these migrants who they're illegal. They're criminals. Every single one of them is a criminal who got here illegally.
You're just pointing out, you're pointing out the symptoms again of the corrupt system. You know, it's like that this wouldn't happen in an uncorrupt system. You know, it's not. It's and again, like Zach was saying, I don't think that the system
Hey,
itself
Daisy.
is corrupted. The system has been corrupted. Hey Daisy, how you doing?
Mhm.
How's it going, T-Rex? See a few
Hey,
more people
T-Rex, I
rolling
missed
in.
you. Sorry.
He's super tired of waking up to terrible news. Well, aren't we all? I hear you on that one.
See, I don't wake up to it. It keeps me from sleeping. It does. I tried to nap today and couldn't do it because of this. I was. So, yeah, I know. I restated a lot of different points that you've already said, but it's just that's what's going through my head. I'm trying to process. So,
Yep. Well, the key thing is that we talk about it, but we don't go out, and people don't go out in the streets and start acting like the left.
yeah, don't go out and be stupid.
Them. Don't be them. We are internet based. We are information based. Let's stay there. Stay with truth. Fight it on the
Truth and
mental
logic.
level. Because there ain't nothing out there in the physical world we can do about it at this point. You know, we can sit here and have and maybe find more people that are in this state of cognitive dissonance over this decision, maybe, and pull them away from the establishment. That's what we do. That's what we need to do.
Yes.
The more people we can pull away, the more consent we remove from them, their power, the less power they have.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the other issues. It's like what's going on in our little microcosm, and then what's going on in the outside world is the same. We need to, you can have your feelings, have your emotions, but have them privately or like with your little group or your friends or whatever. But when you're dealing with anybody outside of that, when you're dealing with something publicly or you're trying to like talk to somebody, take the emotion out of it. Use facts, use logic. Just do not go at them, because once you enter emotionally, they've won. They won the argument, because now you're incapable of making points without seeming unhinged. And that's what they count on. All of them. They count on the unhinged meltdowns. You know, don't do the ad hominem attacks. Don't, just focus on what you know, and focus on, if they say, well, say, you know what? I understand that you believe that, but you know why you believe it? And explain it to them. Say they've been doing this, and this leading up to this. Don't give them any quarter to back out and say, oh, well, you're just attacking me because, you know, you're a Trump supporter or whatever. Like, you have to go at them with the facts. You can't put emotion into it. You can feel whatever you want to feel, but keep that separate. I urge you to feel what you want to feel. You want to feel something, come on my channel, you can talk about it. But like face to face, like if you're going at it with the opposition, don't put emotion in it. Do me that favor. Because that's what they love. They want us to get worked up and overreact or just react, period. Don't give them any ammunition. That's my rant. I'm done. You can talk. Today could be used as an example of why we need the Electoral College. I'm not with you on that. I'm really not. The site crashed when the verdict came out. Yeah. I would love to know how many donations he got today. I hope we get that information soon. If you're talking, I can't hear you. New York City is a microcosm, and this decision just shows how closed-minded these people are, that they think they can decide what's best for us, a nation. They're not thinking of it that way. They're thinking, we don't like him, orange man bad, and oh, look, we can convict him on all these. Okay. Plus, who knows really what was going through their minds? The instructions weren't clear at all. They said it was 55 pages of instructions, and they weren't given a printed copy. You know, it's mind-boggling. It really is. They give instructions on everything. And this, no instructions. You can pull up the website and look. I'm not pulling up nothing right now because me and buttons, they're not a good combination. I believe that the jury was too scared to come back not guilty. I don't know what are there to be afraid of? I mean, they're not going to have backlash. There's too much attention on this. They weren't going to get, penalized for coming back not guilty. If anything, I would be more afraid of coming back with the guilty verdict because everybody on both sides of the political spectrum saw that this was an absolute sham of a trial. They had no basis to bring it about. Everybody passed on it. It was completely contrived. It was stacked against him. And their main witnesses were a sex worker, because what else are you going to call her, and a perpetual liar who wore t-shirts with Trump behind bars like gleefully and is going to make money off of this. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Mayor Rudy cited the code law today showing the jury instructions were illegal. And I'm sure that'll go in the appeals, but it's again a New York appeals court. And I'm sorry, but I've lived here my whole life. If they back each other up. It's totally the buddy system throughout any kind of governmental body around here. So if New York found him guilty, the appeals is not going to counter that. It's going to have to go beyond them. And it's going to have to get kicked up to the Supreme Court eventually. I mean, there's no way that this isn't. And there's no way. It has to go to the Supreme Court at some point, I feel. Because I think they have to pass the law, saying you can't do this. You cannot persecute a political opponent. You cannot weaponize the judicial system. You cannot weaponize the FBI to do your bidding while you're in the presidency just to remove an opponent. That's the whole point. Winning. T-Rex said, what's next? Karen Reed is also found guilty. A hooker and a thief walk into a courtroom. I mean, what happened? And it wasn't funny. It was not funny. But yeah, no. If Karen Reed is found guilty, yeah, why not? I mean, it's up is down, inside is out. White is black, black is white. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Okay, I don't want to get yelled at, but I can't hear you. So I don't know if you're there or not.
So,
oh, there you are.
Yay. Different mic. So the jurors are corrupt in this as well. They followed bad instructions, and they should have come back with not guilty. I mean, honestly, there's nothing there to support this cause. They rigged the whole thing, but with the whole, like, you can come back with 4 and it's a verdict, right? On any charges or whatever. I mean, they didn't even know what they were doing at the end, and yet it still went through. There was nothing, no process in there to stop this from going through when it shouldn't have gone through. I mean, that's what we're missing here. There was no one to jump in and say, hold on, we're watching this go down, and none of this is right. We have to go back to, we have to pull it off, figure out what it is, address it, and then we maybe we'll put it back on. None
of us should have been surprised after the last I guess, miscarriage of justice when he got convicted and then charged, billions or like almost a bill. How much did they make him pay? Like $750 million or something
You can't
like
let
that.
it stand in the long run.
No.
That's the thing. And we want to do something about it right now. But, our hands have been tied because, like we pointed out, there's a mass mind control operation going on called subversion, right? It keeps people bottled in. It keeps people bottled out, right? From the establishment groups to the conspiracy groups, everybody's ineffective, fighting each other, being divided. And it's been working just great. So then when things like this happen, nobody knows what to do. And they were allowed to get away with corrupt dealings. Right. And you have all this subverted support, this useful idiot support behind it, which keeps the resistance, at bay. And they have the media and others ready, and affiliates and enablers ready to dominate the narrative. And then what we have is the internet. What we have is certain individuals and channels and outlets of our own to go to listen to, where truth and reason is being spoke for the most part, and that's all we got. But it doesn't hold the power to influence the massive amounts of people that they have right now. It really, these anchor points, these pillars of their strength, their power, should have been addressed back in 2016. Long before 2020. The media especially. How do you do it without violating our own charter, our own laws of the land? They use these morally based fair laws against us to restrain us. And it's weird. It's a weird thing to think about, but it's the truth. Like we are restrained by our own morality in these situations because they have no morality. God, I can't talk about, how many episodes of that has that been at the core of what we're talking about?
Oh yeah.
Between old school Watch Party Sundays and unveiling reality shows and others. How many times has that come up? Because it's a root cause issue. It's at the root of it. That's why. I don't know. I could go on and on about this, but right now I'm kind of focused on the now. I guess I want to be focused on the now. It is what it is. There are appeals to come. Now, what are they going to do with Trump? That's the big story, right?
The sentencing is going to be interesting.
Right. I think it's time. Here's my counter. I'm just thinking of this as I'm going right now. Here's the counter. I think it's time for him to go ahead and announce the VP.
Yeah.
Right. Do it now. Let's go. And I think it needs to be Vivek. And I think, you guys have watched me warm up to Vivek and then see the potential in him as well. And I'm looking at him strongly as a leader of the future for the anti-establishment. He's already a leader. He's already proving he's a leader. He didn't just quit and go home when he didn't get the nomination. He got to work. He's working harder now.
Motivational.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we need people like that on our team.
Yep.
He could go out there and be the mouthpiece for Trump. He could do it. People will fill up arenas, fill up places to see him speak on behalf of Trump and for Trump. He can do it. He's the only one that can do it, in my opinion, right now, that we know of. There's someone else can come out and amaze me, but right now I'm confident that if he was given the reins, he could take them and run with them. And then we have to get through July 11th, right? The sentencing, and figure out what the hell is going on. So let's get people used to seeing him, having him on the ticket, and get him talking in front of the big crowds, which he's going to be fine with. But
Well, the
let's get
debate's
them
in June.
and say, and then, oh, there you go. We got a debate too coming up. How about that? That just made the
That's
debates
going to
way
be
more
on
interesting.
fire.
You guys better come here for that. We're going to be covering that big time. That'll be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, in this lawsuit with Jason Seen, as I see so many people in the crowd are part of, Winning Reality is your home for politics. I got the background. I've been trying to avert disaster for decades.
Yep.
Be behind Ron Paul to expose the false left right paradigm, which was successfully done to gain power in the executive through Trump, to expose the corruption on all levels, the deep state corruption on all levels. That's what we're doing now, to expose the game plan and the maneuvers, the methodologies of the corrupt establishment we're fighting. What they will do in these situations. He keeps making them show their cards. We're learning their game, and eventually they're going to run out of moves.
Mm-hmm.
All part of the process, I believe. All part of the process. But this is the place to come, guys. It's the place to come. All right. This is all I cover is these topics. Right. I don't jump around from shit to shit. Right. I don't try to flood you with 1,000 guests to, or anything like that.
Just
right.
me.
Well, people here and there, but I'm not like, this isn't the panel channel. Right.
Yeah.
And this, so, and I go to all the other ones. I go to other people in the scene and go there and listen for legal advice, because I'm not a lawyer. So when there's legal stuff, I am I still live? I mean, can you still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I got kitten. I got the hard-headed kitten, and just won't stay off the freaking desk. No matter how many times I put it on the floor, it comes right back. It'll learn eventually, I guess. I just pick it up, put it back on the floor. Anyways, what was I saying? Because that distracts me every time.
This is where they come for the truth, and
Yeah. Come
you're
here.
not a panel channel.
Come here for the yeah. Come here for the politics and that stuff.
You're gonna have to show them the kitten.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I wish more people, more other creators in this scene would do that. I guess they're too busy trying to do their thing, but come by and learn some things. I know you don't cover them, but you're welcome to be part of the conversations. There he is.
No.
There he is.
He's so cute, y'all. He's got the cutest meow. Cutest meow. Iron Rabbit, I believe America is resilient and will survive this mess. I hope you're right. I hope and pray for the same thing. I don't know so much that I believe it anymore. My beliefs are a lot more fluid.
357.
Because I don't want to get stuck in a mindset.
He's going to knock my shit out any second.
Okay. Well, I'm here. So what did 357 say? Regardless of the system, this is bad for everybody. Sad to see. Even though this is much to do about nothing, it's a bad look for all Americans. I mean, the world is watching, and they're watching us be friggin' Riri. They're sitting there going, we know y'all are crazy over there, but what are you thinking? What is going on? And now, like, what did I read today? That, we're sending, we told Ukraine, yeah, go ahead, use U.S. weapons to attack Russia. That'll go over well. That's great. Great. More bad decisions.
Vote for Flynn. What are you talking about, Flynn? Flynn's not on the ballot. Vivek would be the VP. I mean,
somebody said they're going to put Flynn.
Who said that?
It's in chat somewhere. I think somebody said
Michael Flynn, and that guy's a joke. He's a joke.
That's the thing. They can't replace Trump on the ballot. There's no way. There's absolutely no alternative. Nobody has the power, clout, or reach that Trump has.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing too. That they're trying to say we saw the MSNBC people. I said, there it is. That's the narrative they're going to run with. They're going to try to say, now that you guys have to decide whether you want a felon on the, you're going to run.
I'll pick the felon every time.
No,
if it's him,
you watch.
He's only a felon because they made him one.
You watch. That's going to be the
absolutely.
Can I finish my sentence? That's going to be the media establishment media talking point. They're going to try to like run that into the ground, right? And like already being no surprise to see that someone's already trying to bring up Michael Flynn. Where did that even come from? I mean, if they're not going to replace him, they're not going to replace him. I don't believe they're going to replace him. He'd have to step down, and he won't. You know, and yeah, there's going to be appeals, but again, January 11th is the next thing, right? That's the sentencing. So then we're going to learn about what's going to happen from here to there. And I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm sure there's going to be motions filed and all this kind of thing to try to either knock it down, kick it down the road, or what? I don't know. I don't know the lawyer game, right? But they're gonna kick it. You know, there's gonna be a lot going on between that when it comes to do with the sentencing, and I believe the mainstream media is gonna put the pressure on, and put questions out there about him being replaced, and probably put a lot of rumors out there. There's probably gonna be a lot of disinformation out there about it too. They're definitely thinking about doing it, or this is what's going to happen, or they're trying to pass this law that says, there's going to be some kind of, they're going to try to do something with that. I believe that's my prediction. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say about that. Let's see. Yeah, that's the next date to watch. The next thing, the other thing to watch next is, if he'll make that VP announcement, because he's going to need to have someone out there talking for him if he does become detained, if you will. And that's what they want to try to do. They hate it. They hate seeing those crowds form for him. Yeah, and they were trying to get it so the Secret Service, so he had no protection.
I don't know if he just got bumped off or what. Does the Secret Service go to jail as well? Yeah, the Secret Service would go wherever they go. And I saw nerds say that them talking to the police yesterday was, indicative of them thinking that this would go down this way. I don't think that. They had to prepare for every eventuality. So you can't let something like that get in your head that, oh, they knew it was going to be guilty. No, they just had to prepare in case it was, and in case they remanded him into custody immediately, because they could have. They could have immediately taken him into custody. And people were like, no, they wouldn't do that. Well, we didn't think that they would, pull him into court like this either. So, the judge rejects all the hearings. He's salivating. Oh, yeah. He's absolutely he's got such a friggin' a desire to be the one to lock this man up. And who knows, you don't know what's going on. Corruption, judges get, they get rewarded. I don't want to use certain words, but they get rewarded down the road. I mean, these are people who never fail down. They always fail upwards. They may fail to us, but they know that eventually the media storm will pass or whatever. And, people will forget and they'll go and they'll get a better job. They'll get a higher paying job. Why did you have to pop my paranoia with your facts and calm thinking, Shelley? This is what I'm saying. We have to remove emotion Because if you let your emotions drive you, if you let your fear and all of that drive you, you're going to say things that you want to take back later. You're going to say things that they can use against you. So if you go into it and say, you know what, I know that they're doing this, and I know it's a sham, like 357, this is just a pony show. Absolutely. It's absolutely a, hey, look at me. This is also, this works on so many fronts for them, because they can take down, Trump in estimation. So they think, they're not counting on Americans getting behind him even more. They're counting on, well, we're going to create the narrative. He's a felon. He's a felon. He's a felon. Yes, but we watch this play out in real time. We know you made him the felon. He's not a felon in his own right.
I don't think they care. I don't think they care just the same way they didn't care in 2020. Again, I'm watching what they may try, because they can't win. They can't win a fair fight. So the fight is November 5th. And I don't think they care whether people flip to him or not, because they control the narrative. They'll just tell people it didn't happen. Right? And then they'll try to pull another fast one and keep counting for days and days and days after the election's over until they get the numbers they want. And unless we have something in place to stop it, it's not going to be stopped. That's what I said in 2020. No, actually, I said it in 2018. I said it in 2018 during the midterms, right? Because they unveiled their whole thing right there, but they just didn't have the coof thing to go with it. That was the final straw that nobody saw coming, and that's what I'm saying. There's going to be a something that nobody has yet seen or thought of. Maybe if we're lucky, someone will detect it early and be able to expose it. But could anybody have said pandemic, in 2020, like right before 2019? Could anybody have said that? Nobody could have seen that coming. People have been predicting something like that for a long time. Oh, this is when they're going to do it. I don't think I even heard anybody say that. They think way ahead of us. We're like, remember the second veil, live in fear, stay on defense. That's part of the reason. That's part of the inspiration for this channel, is because we have been on defense for so long and reactionary that they keep getting ahead of us, and they're able to do things like this, right? Like, we're not preemptive enough because we're always on defense. We need to be on offense, and to get on offense, we have to be able to move the ball when we have it, and that's running over them. They need to kick them back. They go on defense. What is it? Witch hunts and rumors and people coming out of the woodwork to make false accusations. They control the media. They control the news cycle. They control that aspect, right? That influences people all around the world, mainly in the United States. But we're always on defense, and here we are having to react to this. The root cause issue is the corruption in the system. If you want to stop reacting to symptomatic problems, we have to take care of the root cause issue. But first, we have to get the power back. And right now, that is working within the system, exposing it, calling it out, hopefully pulling more people out of their slumber with it. Some people can, even the hard-nosed ones, can be kind of shocked out of their condition, unless they're pure evil. Most people aren't pure evil. Most people are just highly influenceable and not paying attention and distracted and just trying to struggle with their own lives. Or they haven't had the chance to become sophisticated in certain areas. It's really what it is. Oh yeah, they could put it in the panic mode. That's what we're saying here, is like, nobody panic on this side.
No mass hysteria.
Anti-establishment.
No mass outrage.
Stay strong, but do not overreact. Do not panic. Do not become what we fight, no matter what. Because that's when we really lose. When they turn us into them is when we've really lost. That's the whole thing. They're all about turning people into them, one way or another. Will there have to be a fight at some point? I don't know. I think there has to be a political fight. I think there has to be some bold moves when in power. You know, cleaning this place. You all are gone. You're never coming back either. You know, you all are gone. You're never coming back either. You know, the
Accountability and turbulence.
best we can without them turning us into them. I don't know how that's going to be done. There's much more smarter people than me when it comes to that, and understand the ins and outs of that. But what we can't do is keep letting them, giving them what they need. You know, we can't keep letting it go on. I don't know what that means. But they work 24/7 at what they're doing. They never stop. They're way ahead of things. They've got a plan. The plan's already being worked on. They got think tanks and billions of dollars and people who all their job is to keep the power. That's all their job is. That's all they do every day, and they live well doing it. They're treated well for doing it, and some aren't. Down to the useful idiots on the streets, putting their life and their freedom out there for a wicked cause. Yeah, these days just remind us of how real it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So many days, or maybe it's not so bad. I've been on that teeter-totter ride a long time ago. Maybe it's not what I think. Maybe it's not as bad as everybody thinks it is. Maybe it's just, nope. These are the days you are reminded of exactly how bad it is, and that it's probably worse than you imagined. At least for a lot of people. Us, people here are smart. People here want to be part of the solution. They get it. Kind of just talking to the, I want to say preaching to the crowd, yeah, in a way, but them trying to send a message out there for everybody else, right? Together, all of us here, that message, right? As we put our comments in. You think, okay, Trey says they're going to try again, but people aren't hyping up the bird flu narrative. We're not doing it again. I think maybe people are feel like there's no way they're going to tolerate it again, but they just don't realize until it happens that a lot of them are going to slide right back into it. Masks will be on, rules will be canceled, lockdowns all again. I don't know. Are we going to put up with it again? What's going to be this time? Man, I hope they got us the alien narrative. I hope they have to pivot to that one. Let's go. Let's go full. Let's go all in. Let's go all in. Come on. Tell us we're under attack by aliens. I dare you. That's the next one on the card. If you're really following it, that's the next one on the card. That or some kind of, we looking so they'll tell us some asteroids coming towards us or something. I can't wait to see what they try to do.
Buy your toilet paper now.
Hope it's not another fake demic. No, they're on to Agenda 2030 now. I talk about that all the time here. Agenda 21. Agenda 21.
There's a whole show about it.
That's what I was talking about 10 years ago, and no one was listening to that either. Now it's Agenda 2030. Well, we got it. Yeah, I have a whole series. It's called the Open Conspiracy Series. It's a playlist of every show I did on this. It drills down to the beginning. I go over Agenda 2021 in that. And actually I was thinking last night about this too. I was like, well, I wonder why it's like 21 to 30 and then 30 to 45. There's a gap there for some reason. I don't understand. Maybe 2045 is not what I think. It's not what that's not an accurate date. Maybe it's because it would be a 9-year pattern if they went from 21 to 30, right? So then it should be from 30 to 39. 40 would sound better. So 2040. Why don't you just go 10-year blocks on these agendas? Each agenda is setting up the next one. So 2030 is the one that we're on right now. And if you have any questions about that one, you can simply go to the WF website and look at it. It's right there. They put it all in black and white for you, or color.
Mhm.
You know, you go to the UN webpage. You can watch anything from Davos. It's all laid out for you. The big plan's all laid out for you. They don't hide it. That's why it's called an open conspiracy, but it is a conspiracy because people are conspiring to get it done. They're grooming their next generation of leadership to go in and infiltrate important positions in our society so that they push this agenda through. That is the main thing we're fighting. That's like, we ain't talking about no conspiracy grifts here. This is the real deal. Yeah, but it did start with Agenda 2021 that came out of 1992 World Summit where they created Earth Day and all that shit. So that plan was born from 92, which is wild when you think about it because there's 92, right? And to 21. We had all that time to be talking about it. In fact, I showed a clip from people that were talking about it right after it happened, right? Showing the literature and everything. I think it was on the last show, or was it the I don't know when, I can't remember which one. Was it the last Unrig the Game? Maybe in the pre-show, the kickoff show? The kickoff shows, I always show stuff, and well, for Unrig the Game, I always show stuff. It's worth coming by for. Even if you're not into the book, the kickoff show is going to have some relative information for you. Good chance to hang out and say hello to everybody. But yeah, we've done that one. We've covered that one. And really, it's 2030 you got to keep your eye on right now because 2030 is right around the corner. There it is. Yeah. MLS, what's up? It's the end of the world. You feel fine? Good. You feeling good? That's good. I like REM too.
There's the
Yeah, man.
specific link for Agenda 2021, 2020, 2030.
Yeah,
For the
there's all that
first
stuff.
episode. It's a two-parter.
Yep. So what do you think, man? Well, hey, you want to come on? Do you have time to come on? You've never been on. You've been on my show one time. We did it. We had a one-time thing. I'd like to hear what you think that could happen when it comes to, between now and July 11th. Like I was talking about that earlier, and I don't really have an answer because I'm not a lawyer. Like I was telling people, I always go to where the lawyers are to learn about the law. So since you popped in, where are you on this list of things and people?
He's meeting up with his wife for dinner. Aw, that's so sweet.
That's cool. Well, maybe you could just throw a little thing in the chat or something. No time right now. Okay. Well, maybe sometime soon. Because I'm curious. Like, what are the things that could happen between now and July 11th that could change things, that could help things, that could hurt things? I don't know. I'm thinking that there's going to be some kind of like, will they try to put it off?
Very cool.
Okay, cool. We'll work something out. I'll get that. Maybe we'll do another follow up on this one, and a few other topics maybe.
Do it from a legal point of view.
Well, yeah, I'm just really curious because I'm looking for strategy, right? I'm looking for strategy at this point, and what to expect. But like I was saying, I was like, I think that this is. I don't know if you heard this part of MLS, but I think this is a good time for him to announce his VP. I hope it's Vivek because Vivek can talk. And, then that way he has someone out there surrogate in case he, for some reason, does have to do time. And I don't see why they wouldn't try to put time on him since they've gone through all this trouble, but is there anything his lawyers can do? I mean, what do you do when the trial is so damn rigged and there's no one there to stop it? Who's supposed to step in these situations? These are all the questions that I have, is this where an honest and integral attorney general could stop the mayhem that's going on in this court? So generally, you don't have a right to an appeal until after you've been sentenced. However, I think its defense team will file requests to appeal various issues. Anything that could stall it out and break up their plan, because their plan is just to take them off the course right now. They hate it.
Running.
Yeah, well, they hate, just out of the game. I don't think it'll ever take them out of the running. They're going to try to push that narrative in the mainstream media, but to keep them from meeting people, keep them from getting out there and throwing the big rallies and having the big rally optics for the world to see, that could lead to people changing their minds. See, but July is not that far away, and I doubt we're going to get the Supreme Court with anything before then. Trump faces real possibility of being sentenced to jail and running his campaign from there. Wow, that's like clown world, man. That's I never would thought in America this would be going on. Yet they're the establishment's perfectly rational about this, I guess. I said, oh, this is great. I can't. Biden is going to shoot himself in the foot as soon as he opens his mouth.
Mhm.
As soon as he says the words "justice was served," oh, that's when it's over, guys. Mark it down. I said it first. As soon as he says "justice is served," justice has been served. That'll be it. At some level, people's survival instincts has to kick in, you know. But of course, appeal is coming. Yeah, of course they gotta appeal it, but it doesn't mean you got. You know, some people are waiting appeal while they're sitting in jail, right? And yeah, they usually sentence first. I mean, almost always, of course. Yeah. So, well, a lot will be talked about and heard between now and July 11th, and then there's you see the RNC convention coming up. He won't be able to make that if he's sentenced. This guy, this judge. What do you do about corrupt judges like this? What do you do about corrupt judges who put out seemingly, apparently, according to other lawyers and Rudy Giuliani, especially illegal jury instructions? I mean, how can you decide that 4 is enough? You know, these are the things that I hope everybody's asking themselves. I think the RNC has a real dilemma. Can they nominate someone who is in prison? Should they? Will they? Yeah, I think that's the mainstream narrative they're going to run with. I saw Rachel Mad Cow, running her disgusting mouth today about it, and I was like, oh, there it is. But yes, they should, and yes, I hope they do, and they should, because this isn't fair. It's not right. He hasn't done anything at all, really at all. So yes, they should, if anything, to make a point about how that it was a sham. I think going outside of that gives it validity it doesn't deserve. I think right now we need to be vigilant about the neocons and the rhinos. This is their moment to try to again seize power. Again, try to co-opt the base, if you will. Watch those guys. They'll start to resurface. They'll start to run their mouths. They'll start to plant questions of doubt. They're going to be working hard on this. They're going to be working hard on this. This is going to be interesting. Yeah. So like, I mean, he's got it. They're going to try to put him in some kind of, like Rikers Island. Like, they're going to try to
that would be very dangerous, because he could rally them to his side. That would not be a good look for the Dems. He goes in there and gets more popular, even with the inmates. He's charismatic. He has a way with people.
I don't know, but again, the main advice today is just to regroup, to come together, talk about it amongst ourselves, not hit the streets. Nobody do anything that a leftist would do. Don't do anything a leftist would do. All right, we cannot do that. That's bad. They're already going to try it. I'm saying just for your, anybody out there. I know my crowd ain't going to do anything, but anybody else who happens to come across this stream and has that fight building up inside of them, we all got it. But we have to not become what we protest. And we have to realize that there's nothing that's going to be taken, nothing that's going to change from it at this point. There's nothing that can be changed. We have to get through this year, and work hard to get him elected president so that he can go on there and undo this corruption. And if, that's his mandate. I don't care about anything else. Honestly, I don't let Ukraine and Russia blow each other. I don't care. Let Palestine and in Israel crush each other. I don't care. We have to take care of ourselves first. America first, right? Then we can worry about everybody else. But right now, We need a clean house. We have to fix this thing. This could be very well could be the crescendo. This very well could be the climax to the whole story. Maybe that's why it happened. That we could stand around and watch a corrupt judge run a corrupt trial in a witch hunt and get their way, get exactly what they wanted out of it. So he's got, maybe he'll get, well, he already is winning it. He already is winning that vote. And they lie about it on TV. He is, because they haven't got their replacement squad in place fully yet. They need to get them voter IDs and all that stuff. They have to get them illegals to vote, and then once they do, they'll be like, "See you later, black folks." Right? And we're right back to it. Like I've been we tried to say on that show I did Repairing History Together. It's always been the establishment against all of us. They don't want us coming together. They don't want us being on the same team. Right? That's been their plan the whole time. Because that way they can use and abuse you further. Right? And use you to use and abuse us. And then animosity and division and all the things that hurts our families together collectively at the same time. So it's time to realize it's always been them that's been between us. That's what that show was about. Let's see. I hope not. I hope, honestly, you don't think he'll see any jail cell time? I hope not. It doesn't look good, I would say. I mean, we got a conviction already on the books, right? It doesn't look good. I hope not either. He shouldn't. And that's why I was asking David. I was like, what if anything could be done between now and July 11th to keep him out of there? Can they file recommendations like ankle bracelet and confined to Mar-a-Lago? I don't see why the judge who presided over this sham of a trial would give him jail time.
Would not give him jail time.
Would not. Okay, I was like, what word am I missing? Right? That's how I feel too. I was like, why would you go this far not to go all the way? Right? Why would you go this far not to go all the way? Go ahead. Do exactly what you set out to do, corrupt judge. Dude, and how do you make someone like that pay? Like he's guilty of crimes. Judges. How do you make him pay? Like where is that judge? So you can file an appeal. You can file leave to appeal, and if the Court of Appeals takes it up, you could get an order that stays the sentence. Okay. Any chance of that happening in New York City?
Not in this lifetime.
Well, I hope not. I mean, we're the optimistic crowd too, right? Everybody, let's hope for the best. I still believe in that too. You gotta hang on to hope. In darkest times, like I said, most things that they try against them end up backfiring. Not all. They got away with 2020. They're still getting away with stuff, but eventually they seem to flip on them. But yeah, we knew that justice system was imbalance. We knew at the beginning of this year they were going to use the justice system to go after them. People have been saying it for a long time. I don't think people actually realized or thought that they could actually get away with it. I think that was the moment that kept people kind of like stunned in the headlights, if you will. Frozen in the headlights. There's no way this can happen, right? It's a corrupt system. Corrupt people are running the system. Let me put it that way. Let me try to say the system itself as it was designed isn't corrupt. It's not inherently corrupt. It's the subversion of the system by corrupt individuals that has turned it into that. And it probably needs to be flushed out. I don't know what that means. Like some people will tell you what it means is that you have to have a constitutional convention, right? That's something that used to come up a lot. back in the day. And, you know, that the states meet and they kind of like make a parallel, they elect a parallel government and then they just replace the corrupt one. So, I mean, but how's that going to go down, right? There's more to that. I don't have 100% correct how that works. But I remember the discussions about it a lot when it was the Obama days. And I feel like we could do anything about it then, you know? So that came out of the whole, you know, Obama years. People were talking about like, well, that's so corrupt. We're never going to get anybody in there. We're never going to beat it this way. We have to do it another way. Right. And then Trump came along and kicked down the door where we needed to kick down, which we couldn't kick down. Third Continental Congress. And we had hope again for that plan. So, and Rob Paul 2 times in a row, a lot of grassroots support. That was the idea. Trump followed it up. I don't know why libertarians don't realize this, but they don't. Some of them. But and then now we're back in the game. We actually could save the country. And this is to avoid a bloody conflict. This is to avoid death and destruction and doom and gloom and some of the recording some of the worst history ever. That would be some of the worst history ever in the world if this was to go down the way that they wanted to. This is to avoid this. So the plan's back on. We all have to get behind the anti-establishment. Hey, man. Thanks, David. You have a good night, too. I appreciate your input. Thanks for coming by.
Night, Emma.
Have a great dinner, man. Have a great dinner.
Enjoy.
He's already federally monitored 24/7. Think about it. Yep. So, stay of appeal. Let's see. Leave. You can file leave to appeal. Leave to appeal. I guess it's. And so, if the appeals court takes it up, you can get an order to stay the sentence. So that's the plan right there. That's the best you can hope for, I think, at this point between now and July 11th, which isn't going to be we got about a month or so. We got a month and 11 days.
Let's hope they make the most of that time.
Yeah. What else we got going on out there in the crowd? Maybe hit the thumbs up for me. Follow if you're over there on Rumble. Man, we're doing great on Rumble. Doing great over there. And on X, got lots of folks on X today. Whenever something like this comes up, X blows up for some reason. But that's awesome. And thank you for watching on X. I appreciate it. Almost catching up with Caroline Bozinko, who does not understand how things work. She's got a lot of good ideas, but does not see the anti-establishment for what it is. Anyways, let's see. Wonder what news is getting overshadowed. Well, I mean, this is the biggest thing out there. But they could certainly sneak some stuff in right now, couldn't they? They could. Thank you, Wolfram, for that. Thank you guys for all this, helping keeping this little fighting channel going. Doing our best out there against this big mean world together. I was gonna do another show tonight, but I think I'll just put it off. It's not ready. But I did promise I will address things. I'm trying to figure out how to put it into context. It's not to be like everybody else. Nick still hasn't made any statements that are worth repeating. That are like him on getting out in front of it and saying something. He might not. I mean, honestly, I would just be like closing down shop. See you when I see you. You know, when he comes back, it'll be, people will hear about it. They'll jump on it. He can take whatever time off he needs. Once you get talking, I guess he can come out and talk about the Trump stuff. How many people are going to be able to listen to that when knowing what's going on behind the scenes with him? And I think the more that I see, this is why I like someone who said it today. Somebody said something today that made a lot of sense. They said, we have a gotta be first problem in this country. You know, those views and those likes and those potential subscribers are just so delicious looking to some people. And honestly, I'll take the sit back and wait approach and just watch, and you'll learn all kinds of things by doing that first. So by the time I do say something about it, you know, whatever it may be, if I do, it'll be from a more well-rounded perspective on it. I have insights that a lot of people that are running their mouths don't, not into him particularly, but into the things that he's come up against. I've talked about it, you know, rock star syndrome, getting famous too fast, what that means, how that changes things for you, midlife ordeals, influences, you know, and things like that. Whatever. I'll talk about it when I talk about it. The whole thing is messed up, but the real news of the day is Trump, not Nick and his problems. So I'll do that show some other time. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. I don't know. I was kind of hoping he would talk first. Like, I just wanted to get his take on it, and then I'll be like, okay, well, this is what I think of that. I more want to do a take on his take than to just like jump in. There's all kinds of lawyers out there that can read the law and understand. Their goddamn law tubes like imploding because of it. You know, Nick was the glue, guys. He was the glue. Is that what you're telling me? Come on. You guys should just set up a stream and talk instead of talking over text and bullshit and getting all emotional.
The emotion out.
Yeah. You know, how about a singing contest? LawTube is not dead. Outpost. Jesus, man.
Well, I applaud your wait and see approach because credibility is important to you. You know, when you jump the shark, you get shit wrong and you wind up with egg on your face.
There's still going to be a collection of lawyers that do law streams. LawTube's not dead. Now, the origins of the original Kyle Rittenhouse panel, and that's already had people fall off of that. You know, I don't like to see Barnes and Viva fighting with Legal Mindset and others about stuff. It's just, but you know, they're entitled to their opinions. But I want everybody to be one big happy family. But that doesn't mean it's dead. In fact, if you've been paying attention, there's other lawyers that are coming up, like MLS and MG Law. These guys are getting a lot of interest in their takes. You know, people tune in to listen. So LawTube will be around because people love drama, and law is drama. Real life drama. You know, the courtroom is a dramatic setting. So I think LawTube's safe. They may never have another singing contest again, but that's just because I probably won't make another movie like that. Anyways, that's that. And they all lived happily ever after in some parallel universe. Law team it. If you like parallel universes, a parody where everything always works out, make sure you check out my playlist called LawTube is Getting Weird. It's a great story about the origins of LawTube put into a parody universe known as the Lawtainment universe. It's fun. It's the way you wished it was. It's the way you wished it was. Hey, Lex. What's up?
Lex.
People will come and go. That's right. It will. People will always have an interest in the law because most people don't understand it, including me. That's why I don't try to cover it, even as a passive law watching legal proceedings watching person for years now. I don't try to pass myself off as some legal expert or like people should come here for legal viewing. You know, we're talking about the real things. Talk about the clear and present dangers coming at us. Talk about like how things affect us, what we can learn to have them not affect us, mind, body, and soul, all those things. That's what we do. I go to other people's channels for legal coverage.
Good to see you, Lex.
Johnny, that was going to Kyle Rittenhouse to stream to watch Nick. No, hey Jacob, man, you realize that when all this stuff started, like a long time ago, I came out and said one day this is gonna, you know, the if you look at the end of the LawTube is getting weird finale or whatever, all the law tubers are watching Nick on trial. So it's like that was the prediction. It's like one day it's gonna come around to one day they're all watching Nick on trial because he's the one who created it. The LawTube ends up watching the guy who created LawTube. Of course, you know, there's a channel called LawTube out there. It's like these two people who do a radio show, and they get like 4 views a stream. It's so sad. But they if you want to see how boring a law stream can be when it's just the law and nothing else mixed in, go check out their stream. Bless their hearts. I mean, they're trying, but they own the name LawTube. It's kind of crazy.
Boobies.
Is that the video you're looking for? Thank you for the $10.
That's what he wanted.
All right.
Thank you, sweetie.
I mean, I have to enhance that one a little bit too. Good grief, Charlie Brown. Have you seen the LawTube channel? Hold on, I'll find it. Have you guys ever seen real LawTube before? I bet you a lot of people have it. I'm
You know
actually
which one is my favorite. The very
All right,
first one.
here it is. Here it is. You guys are gonna love these guys. This is the future. If you haven't seen this before, this is gonna like knock you out.
It's adorbs.
LawTube.
Oh,
yep. So this is them.
I remember that.
And guess what? Guess what, guys? They've been around since 2013. That's right. They've been knocking it out since 2013. They republished their videos. Is that what they're doing? I thought they had live videos. 54. Yeah, they're hanging tight, man. They got 9,000 subscribers, including me. But that's the LawTube. That's the LawTube. And they're not. You know what's funny is they're not covering Nick Rekieta. Like what? They're covering topics like using an unlawful detain or action to evict a family member from your home, 3 ways for a landlord to retake possession of their rental home from the tenants, and they cover like a lot of that stuff. Employment law attorney, pregnant workers fairness act. These people talk about real law. It's absurd. Well, how dare you talk about real law? How dare you?
Well, it's already begun. That guy that I like to follow, that Nick Freitas, that he does shorts where he says something, then he always drinks like a cup of coffee at the end. He's very based. And he tweeted out, well, Democrats, congratulations. I didn't start out a Trump fan. I supported Rand Paul in the primary in 2016. I was skeptical. Yep. I was skeptical whether or not Trump would do what he said. Even after supporting him in 2020, I was frustrated by some of his policies. But now I will enthusiastically campaign, donate, and vote for Trump. Because
Boom.
if nothing else, he represents opposition to you, the people who engage in lawfare. Openly target your political rivals for prosecution while ignoring the real issues facing this country. You have now showed us the rules of the game. Don't be surprised when we start playing by them. I love that, man.
That was awesome. Perfect. Couldn't have been said better by anybody else. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. That's exactly, he just summed it up. I wish I could talk that well. At all
He's
times.
very good at saying very little. That's his thing. He's ex-military. I think he's in the House of Representatives now, or in his state Senate. I forget, but he's very good.
Good.
Nick Freitas.
Nick Freitas. Remember that name, folks.
Mm-hmm. He's awesome. Trump 2024 because fuck you.
There you go. That's the attitude.
Yep. It's an oversimplification, but to the point. Good job. Yeah, he's a good dude. He is.
I wonder what Shapiro's take is on this. I just saw his. He just did a 49-minute stream. Got 111,000 views.
But for him's not that much. I hate to say it. Talk about damaging your brand.
I'm wondering what his take is on this. That is a well-written quote. Absolutely. Surviving Diddy.
Delete.
What is that? Are you trying to like drop a
spam?
You trying to drop a link to your gay channel on my on here?
Yeah, I got it.
No, Jacob, you want to pick his ass? There you go. It's already gone. Surviving Diddy. What an idiot. What an idiot. Okay, goodbye. You're gone forever. All right, so there's a well-written quote. That guy's awesome. So what next? What next? What next?
I'm just getting nonstop tweets from Trump.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's Trump. Well, let's pull up the Trump tweets. Let's look at those.
No, not. I mean, no, like not tweets. Text. Sorry about that. Wrong T word. His base is going insane. You know, they're rigged. You know, rigged case, rigged verdict. Pray for our country. The justice system is rigged. Judicial system in our country is dead. They're like every 10 minutes I'm getting one. So dude was on Good Logic too. Yeah, figures. He's just rolling through Rumble. I'm looking at Truth Social to see if he put anything. Just the American people are seeing right through this. Yep. If you go to his winred.com, it's breaking news, and there's the picture of him with his fist up, political prisoner. I'm a political prisoner. I was just convicted in a rigged political witch hunt trial, and I did nothing wrong. They raided my home, arrested me, took my mugshot, and now they've just convicted me.
Why are we looking at that? Hold on. That dude was was on Good Logic? What are you talking about?
No, he's probably spamming his chat.
Oh, it was spamming. Oh, okay. Yep, she gets personal tweets from Trump. She knows everybody.
Oh, stop. You sign up for it, you get it. You know, Trump's last tweet on Truth Social was like 3 hours ago. And it was just him as a political prisoner, support Trump. So it's the same thing his website says. The real verdict will be on November 5th by the people, and they know what happened here. So yeah, that's his take.
How come?
I think the less he says, the better.
Okay, how come Lola Holmes didn't show up on my thing? Did I miss it? Bet me. Okay, I'm taking the bet, Lolo. I'm taking your bet. And I can't find your chat anywhere.
A couple of things I wrote on Twitter didn't go through on StreamYard either. It's weird. It just skipped them. I was like, I know I put it. I went back. It was there. Nerd answered it, and it just wasn't on
There it
StreamYard.
is. I found it. It's just weird. Yeah. Okay, I'm willing to bet. How much we betting, Lolo? How much we betting? How much we got? How much we betting? I'm in. I'm down with the bet. I'm down with it. Okay, here we go. Time to lighten the mood. Let's get the whole gang in here. Have you seen
And I
Shelly
do
do
it.
it? Have you seen
I
Shelly
do it in real time every time.
in her veiled rude celebration? Did you
My
see this,
veiled
Rex?
rude.
The whole church loved it. I gotta get
Mhm.
that. I gotta fix that though. There's still things I need to fix about
Remember, God, you know that's not real. Stop it. Nope.
that. Come on, you worked all night and all day covering up this.
I know. I worked so hard in the church.
You see how
That's
nicely
me.
they were all veiled so nicely.
That's me. I'm just the draper. I'm the hot draper. Here comes the hot draper. Word her up.
Right? Today's Thursday.
Yeah.
All right. Have we said everything we can say?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have.
I think so.
Of course, if we wait till 9 more people come by, we'll hit 100 views. It's always nice to do. Let's see. Yeah. Notice that. Yeah. To add
I
to the
love that
bond.
vid.
I haven't seen Mimsy around lately. Where's Mimsy at?
I haven't. Has anybody heard from her? I want to send her an email, but I'm afraid that I won't get a reply, and I don't need more bad news this week.
Nope.
I'm dealing with all I can.
It was Daisy's turn to watch her, and she doesn't know where she is.
Damn it, Daisy. You're supposed to keep an eye on her. Yeah, I haven't seen her in at least a week. Could be like a week and a half. I don't know. Time has no meaning anymore. Well, if anybody sees her, tell her we miss her and we're worried. Just tell her to, check in.
Sign of life.
Yes, please. I'm getting really tired of sending those types of DMs and emails out. Just check it in. Send an emoji, if nothing else. Okay. Look, people are going through it. They're going through a lot on all different fronts, all different things. So I check in. check up on them. But
I
miss a couple.
What are the count? One thing I haven't figured out yet. What are these counts? 34 felony counts. What are they? Of falsifying?
I have no idea what the crimes are.
Just falsifying business records? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Falsifying business records that he never touched. That's what kills me. They're like, oh, well, obviously he knew. If he knew that was getting paid out, how come he didn't know that the dude was stealing from him either? So obviously there's a disconnect in that business aspect. He puts other people. That's what you do when you run a company. You give out jobs to people and then you forget about them because it's their responsibility. That's what you do. All these people had their jobs. They were supposed to do their jobs. This one stole from him and did all these things without his knowledge, and yet somehow it's his fault because apparently not being psychic and omniscient is a crime in this country now. So if anything, I'd get that stupid column for breach of contract or something because he acted outside his scope. Like, don't punch above your pay grade. One is for paying taxes for it. You notice the IRS was not involved in this court proceeding at all. Where were they? Where was their testimony? Gouvet had a good visual. I'm glad somebody had a good visual of the jury instructions because the jury sure as shit didn't. They were absolutely confused. The fact that it doesn't have to be unanimous is such a ridiculous concept. When did that become something in this country? Oh, we only need 4 of you. Oh, goody. That's not even even if they went with the 2/3 majority, 4/5 majority, that would be more understandable, though still I believe illegal, than just if a 30 you is good with it, then we can convict them. It's bullshit. Isn't that the lawyer Gouvet? No.
Yeah, I saw his thing on it.
No, what's his name? Robert? Not Robert Gouvet. What the hell's his name?
Robert Goulet.
That's what I'm thinking of. Robert Goulet. I don't know why I keep putting them together. No, it is Robert Gouvet. There you go.
Gouveia.
Whatever.
It's Italian. You have to learn.
No, he's
Italian.
not. He's so not Italian. But
Lolita Smiles, how you doing? Good to see you.
The lawyer is Peter. Yeah, he's the one with the good hair. He's got good hair.
Good haired Peter.
He does. He's got good hair. Lolita Smiles. I mean, what else you gonna do? I would love to be young and again, just young, period. Welcome, Lolita Smiles. But yeah, no, that lawyer is Peter. He does the Johnny Depp song and dance for the pirate thing. He dressed up as Captain Jack Sparrow for the longest time. He's awesome. He is. It has nothing to do with Epstein. It's your alias from back in your going out days. Mine used to be Sybil. Because why would you give them your real name? That's just dumb.
Sybil, that's so made up.
So I used to call my friend Vicky Veronica when we were out because she didn't want to give them her real name. It was like, whatever. And I was Sybil. It depended on what your personality was. That's which one of mine came out. Bravo Gouvet's children will look like Eddie Munster. Oh no. He knows this and has confirmed. I was deathly afraid I was going to give birth to a little Eddie Munster. I did. I was afraid I'd have like a little wolf man. Oh, that was nice of him. Gonna have to thank MLS for that. He shared your link in his Discord. That was nice. On a slightly funnier topic, 7 years ago today was the hilarious and infamous. Oh no, I'm not doing that. Confifi. Confifi. Trump tweet. I mean. All right, that's all I got. So you're good. It's all you, dude.
All right.
All you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, cool. I'm happy you came over from MLS. He was here earlier.
Yeah, MLS is good people. He is.
Let's have him on the show soon. There you go. Nice.
He was
Happy
fun
to
to
have you
watch
here.
at Dollywood. He was lively. I like him and Wendy. They're good. They're a good combo. But all right.
Well. Y'all smell something?
Oh my goodness, I almost choked to death. Thanks, Daisy. I needed that. Oh Lord. I love Daisy. She's great. In case y'all are not in the know or not reading, she just found a piece of sliced cheese in her bubbage that she put there this morning for the puppies. I'm guessing that where you're living is not having a heat wave, because you would have noticed it a lot earlier if it was. Well, from boobies. Yes, boobies and cheese. Look, your two favorite things. Go get it. Good puppy. You're speechless. Yeah, she's speechless too, but not cheeseless. Hate when that happens. Oh, I love you guys. I really do. You're amazing. Always put a smile on my face because chat is good. Chat is wise. Chat knows all. And I love my chat. I love your chat too. Especially when I'm in it. It's cool today, I'm sure. Otherwise, it would have been. Ugh. Good thing it wasn't Velveeta. Chips or crackers are okay. Popcorn, that's my thing. I collect popcorn. I don't know why. Sometimes I find popcorn. I wasn't even eating popcorn. It's like, oh, it's just manufacturers popcorn. I heard cheese and boobies. That's what I said. At least if it was Velveeta, it would have been Cheese Whiz at this point because it would have just melted. Is it that good plastic cheese that doesn't melt? You know, the kind that's just all preservative, no dairy at all. Dang right. Cheese and crackers. Cheese and cleavage. That's what she's selling. Cheese and cleavage. I mean, it's a pretty good combination. Yeah. Dessert and a snack. Ah. I shouldn't have gone there. Anyway, Chubbies. Wouldn't they be Chibis? Chibis. Chibis. Okay. I'm officially not gonna comment anymore. I'm done.
No, keep commenting.
Why?
I'm still trying to get the end of the show together.
Golassar de que te mort.
Uh-oh. Getting all frisky.
No. See you frisky. Yeah, Chibis. See those instead of Cheez-Its, the Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its. That's all that we got to rebrand that box. Gotta rebrand that box.
That'll mess everybody
Change
up.
the shape of them.
The Mandela effect. It's the Mandela effect. Just the other day when I wasn't paying attention, it was different. Now it's something else.
It's better now. It's an improvement. It's just, there you go. There you go, in you. I knew you had my back. That's my girl. There you go. Oh, what a cheesy joke I have. I know.
Super cheese.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to. Wow, T-Rex, that's nice. He wouldn't be opposed to sucking for cheese with some tetas. I mean, there are better things. Cheese wasn't so bad for you. Okay. I'm sorry. Any cheese that comes out of a can, you got to kind of wonder, nah, that's not real. Leave it alone. It says real cheese. That's a lie. I have a thing of Windex that says made from recycled plastic from the ocean. I'm like, yeah, right. Like, no, it's not. It's soon to be part of the plastic in the ocean, but not recycled. What do you want, cat? Leave me alone. Stop. I got this one pushing me like, hey, what are you doing? I'm talking, not to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it confuses them when I do like the lives and everything, because I'm here and I'm talking nonstop and they're like, all right, I'm listening. Like, what? I'm here. Talk to me, because I'm not talking to anybody in the room. So they just assume I'm talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel sorry for whoever is lactose intolerant. I mean,
all right. Well, to sum it up,
there
it's disappointing. But it's not the end. We've only begun to fight.
Oh, the hits are going to keep coming, though. So
Don't
prepare yourselves.
Discourage any IRL actions. Stay online. Fight in the information war, like, battle of the minds across digital lines. And just denounce any protest for this. This is ridiculous. It's not the way we do things. Hey, Evelyn Cox, how you doing?
Hey, Evelyn. I'm sorry. And you said, you go to be kidding me. What are you, some sort of monster?
Oh, look. She got Daisy crying.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, what to take away from it is that we don't become them. And it's again, they want to incite us.
Yeah.
They're going to do everything they can to incite us. Just remember, they're no different. Just shrink them down to a little internet troll that pops in and says discouraging things and tries to use ridicule and attack and stray and put tension on them. You know how pathetic those people are. You all see them. You know how pathetic they are. They're pathetic. They show up and they're pathetic, and they live in their own little fantasy world. But we all know they're pathetic. And that's what they're gonna do now.
They believe in things they can't explain.
They're going to the establishment mouthpieces and useful idiots are going to use all those Zelensky rules that they've baked into their existence. They're going to try to use this as the ultimate victory. It's all about that for them. But don't let it get to you. It's going to be hard. But when you want to punch back, go find someone who's saying something stupid on X or somewhere and give them a piece of your mind in the comments. Get it out that way. It'll get us through. Next stop, July 11th. If not more news before that.
Well, the debate in June.
Oh, there's debate in June, by the way, which is now just gotten even better, I guess. If Biden doesn't have his baby boy rules in there.
Well, CNN is hosting.
Why do we let them do anything? I don't understand how we keep going back.
Know.
I mean, but no. Okay, fine. If you want one there, we get one on somewhere else. We get one on a base platform.
Moderated by Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. Fair's fair. It's like, oh, see, look, dude, they're fake news. Why we keep giving them credibility by letting them host something like this? again, I can't wait till all this shit is either done one way or another. Scary thing to say, but I do look forward to a day when this isn't. We're talking about like cool stuff, and not just how corrupt people are that are trying to wreck everything we love and hold dear.
Well, I mean, that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting toward the upswing.
To fight to prevent the collapse, prevent the horror that comes with that. But I think
we're used to fighting.
That we're here today, joined us for this impromptu stream, breaking news stream, wherever you are, whether you be on X, whether you be on Rumble, whether you be on YouTube. Appreciate each and every one of you. It's a pop-up stream. I probably should do more of these.
Absolutely.
We'll see. We'll see. It was a rigged trial, rigged game, rigged outcome, rigged jury, and corrupt judge. Bottom line, no debating that.
Oh, that judge takes the cake. I've never seen anything like that. Not even in the movies do you see shit like that.
It was straight out of a movie.
That was worse than the friggin' judge from My Cousin Vinny. Like, stop. That was horrible. Absolutely horrible. When like real life is stranger than fiction, you got a problem, and you got to hope people wake up and see it. That's all. And do something about it. They could see it all they want. They got to change too. So hopefully that's coming. I'm right there with you, Lolita. It doesn't matter that milk don't like me. I like milk. I like cheese and all that kind of stuff, but it just don't like me, and I don't care. I will suffer, but I'll enjoy it beforehand. Cheese and boobs would be worth it. Nice, nerd. And you smash that like the cheese and Daisy's tatas. Oh.
Daisy has the breast cheese.
Oh, that was a good one. I like that. Adorkable. You're so adorkable. Ah.
All right, guys. We're gonna get out of here. Until we meet again, everybody, keep on. And thank you guys so much for being here. But keep on winning. All right.
Love you.
Remember, and let me just leave you with this. This is all because of Joe Biden. And I don't even think it's him. I don't think he's smart enough to think about it. But it's the people that surround him in the office. They're smart. They're fascists. They're communists. They're smart. And they're ruining our country. We're going to win this election. November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. We're going to take back our country from these fascists and these thugs that are destroying us with inflation and with everything they do, how stupid they are, allowing 15, 16, 17 million people into our country, totally unvetted, totally unchecked. We're going to bring back our nation November 5th. Remember, the most important day in the history of our country. In the meantime, this trial is